Texas Memorial Stadium in Austin. The 7th-ranked Longhorns. And the Red Raiders have won 3 straight games. Now let's check in with Tom, standing by with Sark.
Well, Coach, your team found a variety of ways to win football games this year. What did you stress with this team this week to get one last win in the Big 12?
Well, there's so much that's coming into the game with senior night, trying to play to get in the Big 12 championship. We just talked about poise and composure. All right, something we've done really well on the road. We want to make sure we bring it back home.
You've played outstanding defense versus a run all year long. In comes the 3rd leading rusher in college football. How do you minimize the impact of Taj Brooks?
Well, we need to control the line of scrimmage, and hopefully we can do that with our front, because we're going to need to deploy some safety help for these big wideouts outside.
All right, thanks. Good luck.
Thank you.
And on the other side, Tom, you get Joey McGuire, year 2 for him. Won 8 games last year. They were ranked coming into the season, but they struggled out of the gate. They were 3-5 at one point, but they won 3 in a row. The last time they won 4 in a row in Big 12 play was back in 2013. Texas won the toss and deferred. So the Longhorns will kick it off to Texas Tech to start the game. And in talking with McGuire this week, he completely downplayed the rivalry. He said they haven't talked about it at all. Question is, do you believe him?
I don't think so. I would imagine there is a passionate pregame speech inside that Texas Tech locker room when DKR is lit tonight. Black Friday, championship implications. It don't get any better than this, Mr. Pash.
Texas is ranked 7th, but a lot of the Texas Tech players were indicating to the student section that they felt that Texas was #1 in pregame, if you get my drift, and that got the Longhorn fans fired up. Here's Dre McCray on the return. Gets past the 20 and dragged down at the 22 by Austin Jordan. So Baron Morton started 6 games this year. He's 5-1, and the only loss came in a game in which he got hurt against Kansas State. He hurt his shoulder initially in the 3rd game of the season, his first play in that game. He replaced Tyler Shuck, who was the starter at the beginning of the year. Morton started 4 games last year. Not only is he ranked 156 in the ESPN 300 2 years ago, he's the highest-rated quarterback recruit ever at Texas Tech, and that includes Patrick Mahomes. Borden going to throw a receiver screen on 1st down to the running back, Taj Brooks. Knocked out of bounds. They're going to have to get creative against this Texas defense. Awfully hard to do what they do best, with just running it between the tackles.
Zach Kittley, the young offensive coordinator, they've had to change the identity of who they are offensively. So we've got an injury here on the opening play of the game. Looks like Ryan Watts.
He faced injury earlier in the season. We mentioned this, kind of teased it in the open, but some of the injuries this year for Texas include Jonathan Brooks, who 2 weeks ago tore his ACL on Saturday Night Football against TCU. So they have a true freshman running back in C.J. Baxter, who they love, but obviously Brooks is out for the year. Quinn Ewers, their quarterback, is back. He missed time due to injury. They've been able to overcome those injuries for the most part this year.
Ryan Watts been a player that's been banged up throughout the course of the season. They've had a lot of different guys shaken up in the secondary of this defense. Got great size and physicality out there at corner.
There's Brooks, who tore the ACL on his right knee in the second half of that win against TCU, a game in which Texas almost let the lead slip away. Happened against Kansas State. They're up 20. Wildcats crawled back, ended up forcing overtime. But Texas still won those games. The one loss came against Oklahoma, 34-30, and they won 5 in a row since. The last time they won 6 straight games was the last time they appeared in the Big 12 championship game, and that was back in 2018. They're still looking at Watts. We'll step away for a moment and return to Austin. But walking under his own power, very encouraging after we saw him go down about 5 minutes ago.
Here he is. He's going to fight through a block, and then he'll make some contact with the back of Anthony Hill Jr. It's tough to tell exactly what happened, but to your point, Dave, great to see him able to walk off the field under his own power. He was down for a while. A scary situation here to kick off this game, but
anytime you see him move a player, that gives you some hope, and they did. Like I mentioned, he was on his back for a while, then they moved him to, or on his front for a while, then they moved him onto his back for a couple minutes, but hopefully Watts is okay. So 1-yard gain on that screen pass to Taj Brooks, his 21st catch of the season. He's in the backfield now on 2nd down and 9. Morton on the move, and pass is incomplete, as Xavier White could not come up with that. Certainly looked like a catchable ball. 3rd down.
Shot taken by Baron Morton. Remember, as you touched on earlier, going back to that West Virginia game, a grade 3 AC joint separation. And he even told us earlier this week that throughout the course of the game, changes how good he feels. Already goes to the ground on the 2nd play of the game.
Son of a coach, his dad James, longtime high school coach in Lubbock and also at Eastland, as that back shoulder throw is off the line, incomplete. Going for Coy Aiken, who's become a recent favorite target of Morton in coverage. That time Malik Muhammad, the guy that replaced Ryan Watts. Muhammad, a true freshman.
Yeah, and just Baron Morton off target here. His favorite target, as you touched on, they go way back. Got a great chemistry with one another, but I'd pass not even close to his intended target, Coy Aiken.
Austin McNamara, one of the top punters in the country, almost got that blocked. Xavier Worthy's got a punt return for a touchdown already this season. And scoots out of play here at the 43. Just a 41-yard punt because of the pressure on McNamara. He's 6th in the country, averaging about 48 yards a boot. There's an injured Texas Tech player at the 35-yard line. Jackson Knotts, the injured Red Raider. So we played less than a minute. We've already had 2 stoppages for injuries. And Knotts is the long snapper on punts for Texas Tech. Now Texas wins the Big 12 regular season crown and has a spot in the Big 12 championship game next week with a win, a loss, and they will need some help this week for those in need in Lubbock. He is a finalist for the Pop Warner Award, which goes to the individual who most impacts his community and impacts youth. He's very involved in his community and also wants to get into law enforcement when his playing days are over. Quinn Ewers is back, his 3rd game back from that shoulder injury that cost him 2 games. Malik Murphy 1 game against BYU and Kansas State after Ewers hurt his shoulder against Houston last month. He's going to throw on 1st down. It's caught by Xavier Worthy to the 44 of Texas Tech. That's the 66th catch for Worthy, 3rd of the Big 12 in receptions.
Well, Texas runs the football so effectively. Just putting that ball in the belly of C.J. Baxter gets those linebackers up. Middle of the field's wide open, and a strike from Quinn Ewers.
20th career start for Ewers. 14-5 record. Transfer from Ohio State. Going to hand it off to Baxter here, and Baxter able to get back to the line of scrimmage. That Texas Tech defense much improved this year. They're only giving up 24 points per game. That's their best mark since 2009. No gain as Adedire made the stop.
Tim DeRuyter's done a really nice job with this defense. They move their fronts. They change their coverage. Going to try to disguise a lot here for Quinn Ewers.
2nd down and 10. Tech rushes 3. Ewers again over the middle. Wide open is Worthy for the 2nd time, and he is able to squeeze his way through defenders to get the 1st down. A gain of 12.
What's rush 3, drop 8, zone coverage. And Xavier Worthy finds the open spot in the zone, turns around, ball's on him immediately. Xavier Worthy so dynamic with the ball in his hands when the ball is in the air. Got great speed and tough to tackle in the open space.
He was hurt last week. They weren't sure early in the week whether he would play, and they weren't sure about Jatavion Sanders either. He got hurt in the win against Iowa State last week, but healthy enough to go today, and he takes it down near the 15-yard line.
Jatavion Sanders, such a tough cover for a linebacker, for a safety, and he's working on a true freshman at star, Brendan Jordan, who will be playing a lot here tonight. And you see the ball skills and the catch radius. Just put it up and let that talented tight end go make a play.
So first down on the Tech 16. Baxter's second rush between the tackles, downhill to about the 11. Tackled by Adedire again. Baxter was the starter at the beginning of the year. Suffered through a couple of injuries, ended up losing the spot to Jonathan Brooks, who, by the way, is in the top 10 in rushing and a Doak Walker semifinalist. Last week, Baxter had a career day, 117 yards. Gets the carry here and down to the 5, getting a first down for the Longhorns. First and goal.
With good movement, back-to-back plays on the right side of the offensive line. DJ Campbell, Christian Jones really coming off the football, and CJ Baxter, he's got size, physically imposing, excellent burst. Tom, I know coming out of high school, he was one of your favorites.
Yeah, I loved him. You don't see backs his size that have the lateral quickness and agility that he has. You saw it right there. Great feet to and through the hole.
#1 running back recruit in the country. Some movement. Texas Tech jumped into the neutral zone, but were they forced to do that?
False start. Offense number 70. 5-yard penalty. First down.
It's Christian Jones, who playing his final home game at Texas, his 46th career start. Missed one game this year due to injury. The only Texas offensive lineman to miss any action this year.
I'll tell you, he has been playing the best football of his career. I mean, he struggled at times early on in his career. He's found a home at right tackle, really dedicated himself and playing with great physicality, getting good movement up front.
First and goal from just outside the 10 after the 5-yard penalty. Play action pass. Out in space. Robinson inside the 5 and into the end zone for a Texas touchdown. His first career receiving touchdown came last year in Lubbock. His first touchdown of this season comes here in Austin against Texas Tech. Bert Auburn, 97 of 97 for his career on extra points. And after a 7-play, 56-yard drive that took just over 3.5 minutes, Texas on the board first.
Well, it starts with the motion from Jordan Whittington, a staple of what Sark wants to do. And watch Keelan Robinson just going to sneak his way outside. They're going to motion over, then work his way back across. Jordan Whittington, Adonai Mitchell, going to be lead blockers on the perimeter. And Keelan Robinson is an absolute jet. So much speed and explosiveness on the perimeter. And this is vintage Steve Sarkisian, utilizing motion, create the matchup that he wants, get the ball to his playmakers out in space, and caps off a picturesque, perfect drive to kick off this big night here in Austin.
It's really picture poison, isn't it, guys? Sorry, Dave. You see the mismatch he gets going on between the run game action in the backfield, then the players in space. They're just so talented at all the spots, you don't know where to defend.
There's a great mix right there, Tom. Throwing the football, getting the ball to Xavier Worthy, Jatavion Sanders. You get a little dose of CJ Baxter, and then a touchdown to Keelan Robinson.
McCray on the return. Tripped up at the 10, grabbed at the 15, and down he goes. Take a look around the CFP landscape as we count down to the CFP National Championship, brought to you by AT&T. Obviously, some huge games tomorrow. Texas obviously has to win out to have a shot at the playoff. These are some things that certainly would help. Georgia winning the SEC. having an undefeated Big Ten champ, having Florida State lose, and they don't have their quarterback Jordan Travis, having Washington win out. Obviously would send Oregon to 2 losses. Oregon currently ahead of Texas right now.
Not the only path, but the clearest path for Texas to find their way in the college football playoff.
They changed that Robinson touchdown to a rushing touchdown. That was a backward pass. No room there for Taj Brooks. They tried to run him between the tackles for the first time, and he's bottled up at the point of attack.
Byron Murphy on the interior of this defensive line is so good. Watch him just penetrate, disrupt everything in the middle. Doesn't make the tackle, but he makes the play. Allows Jahdae Barron Sorrell to get on the tackle. You better have a plan for number 90 and number 93 when you play this Texas defense.
Out of the backfield, Brooks. Stood up by Jalen Ford, and then gang tackle at the 18-yard line. Little extracurricular activity, and there's a flag.
It's going to go on Anthony Hill Jr., I think. It's a little bit amped up here tonight. You could tell Texas is taking the field with some serious intensity. I think emotions might have got the most of Anthony Hill Jr. here at the end of this play.
That would give Texas Tech a first down, and plays like that can change momentum.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense number 0. That's his first unsportsmanlike foul of the game. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
See if Anthony Hill is taunting Taj Brooks after the tackle, and that's why he got flagged. Yeah. Can't do that.
And lean over, yelling at the player on the ground's face, kind of got a knee in there. Just, again, a lot of intensity, a lot of emotion. Got to keep it in check.
Here's Brooks, got some room off the edge. Lowers the shoulder on the defender. And a gain of about 8 yards. That's a hard run. Brooks leads the country in forced missed tackles. That's 87 now on the year.
So tough to tackle. 5'10", 230. He's a bowling ball with really good vision and contact balance.
Morton now running. And he dies for the first down to the 45. Tripped up by Derek Williams. Talked about how a play that shouldn't happen, that unsportsmanlike conduct where you're just asking for a penalty, can change momentum quickly. And now Tech on the move, but Morton is hit. However, he's not sacked. He gets out of there, and his pass is caught near midfield by Mason Tharp, and he gets positive yardage. A gain of about 5. Ethan Burke should have had a sack.
Well, I'll tell you what, just the fact that Baron Morton evades the initial defender, Burke, and finds his quick 6'9" tight end. What a play.
Morton in trouble again. He's got a receiver downfield. And it's picked off. What a great play by Muhammad. Morton had a receiver, but the ball hung in the air.
On the field is an interception by the defense.
Bradley was open, but Muhammad with the interception.
Inside pressure coming in from Alfred Collins. Hits Morton as he throws it. That pass underthrown. Big takeaway for the Longhorns. Inside, he's got excellent length, and he uses his hands so well to shed the defender. This inside pressure prevents Baron Morton from stepping into this throw, falling away off his back foot. He had Jaron Bradley open down the field, but it's Malik Muhammad, the true freshman, who comes up with a huge interception, who's in the game for Ryan Watts. The inside pressure forced the poor throw. It's a big takeaway for the Longhorns.
Ewers setting up off play action. And again, the receiver open in the middle of the field. This time it's Adonai Mitchell. And it's a gain of 15 to the 46-yard line.
Adonai Mitchell just really has turned into a quality route runner, working back to the football. You see him attack that ball in the air, strong hands. I'll tell you what, boy, Quinn Ewers is on point here tonight.
Now, Ewers, one of the things that he's really worked on, his accuracy. He was under 60% completion rate last year. This year, he leads the Big 12, and he's perfect so far in this game. It's Jordan Whittington. to the 48-yard line. Whittington going through senior day for the second time. He's had a lot of injuries that he's overcome, and coaching staff told us he is the most respected guy in that locker room. Caught his first touchdown of the year in a win over Iowa State last week. Gets the catch here. Ewers on target again. Another Texas first down to the 36 at Texas Tech.
And to your point, Dave, there's no better compliment for a player from a coach and teammates than to say you're the most respected player in a locker room. I mean, that's what you strive for, that's what you hope for, and he's done it through so much hard work. And he's a key piece of this football team. And right now, this Tech defense on their heels as everything Steve Sarkisian dialing up seems to be hitting.
6 of 6 for Ewers. Going to work again. That time overthrows Jatavion Sanders and pressure in his face. Taylor Demerson in the backfield that time for Tech. Well, Ewers mentioned that he worked on his accuracy, worked on his body, dropped some weight. You know, he told us when we had him early in the year that last year he thought at times when he looked back, he said, I took things for granted. I didn't work and take it as seriously as I needed to. That has completely changed this year.
Taking complete ownership of his team. Teammates say a true leader, and man, has it paid dividends with his play.
Baxter up the gut to the 32. Gain of 4 on the play. It's a big third down here for Texas Tech's defense.
They've been on their heels, opening 2 possessions. Texas kind of just had their way both on the ground and through the air. Haven't really seen Quinn Ewers under much pressure, under much duress. Been a clean pocket. Ball's been coming out quick. Can Tim DeRuyter dial something up and put some pressure on Quinn Ewers?
Ewers gets rid of it quickly, and the catch is made. And it looks like it's going to be right at the line to gain. Braylon Lux came up with the ball, and they're going to say an interception. Worthy had the ball and actually looked like he had made the catch, but then Lux ripped it away. And they're saying Texas Tech ball. First interception for Lux.
Dial up some pressure here. Brendan Jordan, the safety, is going to come off the edge. Let's see what this looks like. I don't know.
And to me, that's a catch.
Yeah,
by Worthy, and then the play's over when he goes to the ground, right?
That's what it looks like. Does he have complete possession? We've got Matt Austin. Matt, what do you see here?
Well, I don't think the receiver ever had firm control. When he went to the ground, the ball looks like it was still loose between them. I'm not really sure if the ball touched the ground between them, but I definitely don't think this is a catch. If the ball didn't hit the ground, this is an interception.
And that's what's interesting. As you were talking, we had a look, and it looked like that ball might have actually touched the ground. This could get looked at, potentially be ruled an incompletion. But yeah, to your point, Matt, I don't know if Xavier Worthy ever has control of the football for that to be a completion.
The previous play is under further review. The ruling
their
on the field
hands
is
on
an
the
interception.
ball, Matt. Wouldn't that be a simultaneous catch then? Because you see both guys seem to have control there, and then it at the end maybe comes out, and that's why there was some confusion there. A lot of the Texas Tech guys just stopped.
Ball's on the ground in that spot. I think this might be an incompletion.
And you see the ball sitting there. The question is, does anybody have control of it at that point? Because, Matt, in that situation, if somebody has control of the ball, it can hit the ground, correct, and still be a catch or an interception.
It can, if either player does have firm control. But like I said before, in this case, I don't think either one of them have firm control. I do think that ball touches the ground. I think this should be an incomplete pass. Go back to your simultaneous catch question. If both players have their feet on the ground and both of them do catch the ball simultaneously, that ball does belong to the offense, assuming that they maintain control.
All right, thanks, Matt. If it's overturned and incomplete, it would be 4th down. At about the 35-yard line of Texas Tech for Texas.
Great shots from our camera crew. That ball's on the ground, Dave.
But is there control there by either player? Can you tell?
It's tough to tell. So tough to tell.
And again, ruling in the field was an interception.
Correct.
Have to have indisputable video evidence beyond all doubt to say for sure that that ball hit the ground. Neither guy had control at that point, therefore incomplete.
Looks like an incompletion to me. We'll see if there's enough evidence, and that's kind of the key here, right? You got the call on the field, as you just stated, was an interception. Is there enough to overturn the rule on the field? As I look at it, I say yes. What do they say in the replay booth?
And sometimes when it takes this long, it's because they have overturned it because they're trying to figure out, okay, let's get back to placing the ball down in the distance.
Therefore, it's an incomplete pass. It's going to be 4th down on the 32-yard line.
So on the 32, Texas ball 4th down. And it looks like Texas is going to try a field goal of about 50 yards for Bert Auburn, who's made 14 consecutive field goals, one shy of a school record. He's made a 50-yarder, made a couple of 49-yarders this season. And this will be a 50-yard attempt for Auburn. And a penalty marker down. Back Texas up 5 yards. Cole Hudson moved.
False start. Offense number 54. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
And for Auburn, this will be a 55-yarder. If he makes it, it'll be the longest of his career.
See the movement there by Cole Hudson off the right side. They may change their mind and want to punt this now, Dave.
Yeah, in fact, that's what they're doing.
The way they're playing defense, they should.
Yeah, try to pin him deep. Ryan Sanborn, I mean, he's been really good at times throughout the course of this season. Both Texas Tech and Texas, punting game, kicking game. It's been outstanding throughout the course of this season.
Ryan Sanborn, transfer from Stanford. Xavier White is deep for Texas Tech. Gets out of the way. It was hit by a Texas player around the 8-yard line. Controlled at the 12. Keelan Robinson there first. Now a quick word from Cars.com.
How to find the right car for you. Go to Cars.com. Read expert reviews. Find your off-road possibility on Cars.com.
So an interception by Texas Tech, overturned by replay, and then a penalty on Texas forced the Longhorns out of field goal range. They punt the ball. They're hoping for a little better result there, punting it from the Tech 38. And the Red Raiders trying to run it. And again, the power of Taj Brooks. He was dead to rights at the line of scrimmage, but at 230 pounds, guy that's gotten stronger, lost a lot of that body fat that he had last year. He was able to drive the legs for 5 yards.
Some patience and vision, not much there, but he finds a little sliver of daylight, and he gets a nice pickup on 1st down.
8 100-yard games in his last 9. The only game he didn't get 100, he had 98. They run him again, and again he's able to make guys miss in the hole. A helmet comes flying off. It was his. He's going to have to go to the sideline for a play here. They do get the 1st down, but Brooks will have to sit out a play.
Well, it's a physical run here by Taj Brooks. To pull the backside guard around. Brooks runs through an arm tackle from Alfred Collins. At the end there, you see Finkley kind of pry that helmet off. Brooks will check out of the game here for a play, but you can already see the physicality and toughness running style of Taj Brooks on display here early.
This is a homecoming for him. He grew up 15 minutes from the stadium. Did not play in the game 2 years ago. He was injured. Morton downfield, and it's dropped at the 40-yard line by McCray. Should have caught that. And Barron trailing in coverage for Texas.
Well, you can't throw it much better than this from Barron Morton, rolling to his right on the move, and he's got the speedster Dre McCray open. That's just a drop. You got to pay that off and find a way to bring that pass in. He couldn't place it any better than that, Tom. What a throw.
Great throw on the move. You can see the natural arm talent, and when you're the underdog on the road, you cannot afford to make those misses.
It's 2nd and 10, 5 minutes to go first quarter, 7-0 Texas. Valdez getting the carry and brought down by Trill Carter after a short gain. 3rd down and 7 coming up for the Red Raiders. They've won 6 straight November games. That's one of the differences under Joey McGuire. They've played better as the season has gone along. 8-5 record last year. 6-5 this year. They've won 3 in a row. Let's see what Baron Morton can do here on 3rd and 7.
Boy Aiken up top, isolated. It's his go-to guy.
And Valdez staying in the game again here for Brooks. Morton in trouble. Sack! Jet Bush with the takedown. A loss of 10 at the 16.
With Jet Bush on senior night, the veteran. I want you to watch the move. He's going to start here, and he's going to reverse out the nice little spin move. Little inside-out move, set him up inside, get that ice pick and the tackles back, and a big 3rd down sack from Jet Bush.
Texas Tech's got a different long snapper out there because Jackson Knotts got hurt. And the punt by McNamara takes a huge Texas bounce. It checked up back into Red Raider territory. It's only a 28-yard punt for a Ray Guy Award candidate, Austin McNamara. Well, tomorrow on ESPN, number 5 Florida State takes on Florida, 7 Eastern. Then on ABC, number 1 Georgia against Georgia Tech, 7:30. And the next Sunday, college football playoff selection show. Who will make it into the top 4 spots? Remember, it's the best 4 teams as we start to look at all the possible scenarios with regular season games left and championship games as well.
Is it the best 4 teams or a combination of the best 4 and most deserving 4? You go undefeated in college football, you deserve a spot in the playoff. That's all I'm saying.
Obviously, Texas still a chance to get in the college football playoff. No team has ever made it with 2 losses. Ewers in trouble, flips it downfield, and what a catch by Sanders. What a throw, too. Ewers backpedaling as Ben Roberts was trying to track him down. It's a gain of 22.
Well, they're going to dial up the pressure. Ben Roberts coming in. And then you'll see Josiah Pierre try to make up ground and locate Jatavion Sanders, but that pass thrown out in front where Sanders can run, get it. Great throw by Quinn Ewers under pressure.
And this might be a double pass. It is worthy, and it should have been picked off. It was dropped on the goal line. Malik Dunlap, who has 3 interceptions on the season, had a crack at it.
Well, they do this quite a bit. Xavier Worthy throwing a lot of double passes in his career, and this is one that Malik Dunlap, he's going to lose some sleep over. This one hits the big 6'3" corner right in his hands. Chance to have a game-altering type of play here in the first quarter. But he drops it. Second drop. Once offensively, now defensively for the Red Raiders.
Jaden Blue up the middle. 8-4. Blue getting more carries with the injury to Jonathan Brooks and Baxter being elevated to the starter position. Adedire with the tackle, and it'll bring up 3rd down and 6 here for UT.
The thing I like about Jaden Blue is he checks out. He's more of a speed, home run hitting type of guy on the perimeter. But last week, there was a 4th and 1, a 3rd and 2. He said, I want the ball. And you saw some of the physicality there on 2nd down.
Well, Quinn Ewers has been brilliant so far. Just 1 incompletion. 3rd down and 6. From the pocket. Over the middle. Some contact between Dunlap and Whittington. No flag. It'll be 4th down. And here comes the field goal unit. Back-to-back holds by the Texas Tech defense inside the 35-yard line.
It's good coverage down the field, and Dunlap working one-on-one on Jordan Whittington. A nice job by Adedire to step right in that passing lane of Quinn Ewers and really make that vision tough on Quinn. Good stop by the Red Raider defense.
And the 5th leading scorer in the country, Bert Auburn. 34-yard try. And Auburn has made 15 consecutive field goals, matching a Texas record. 10-0 Longhorns. It's also his 24th made field goal this season, tying Hunter Lawrence's record. We mentioned the 15 straight. Phil Dawson, who I think is still playing in the NFL.
Not a bad kicker, Phil Dawson.
Phil actually retired just a couple years ago, but he was kicking into his 40s in the NFL.
Justin Tucker, another one of the all-time great kickers, not just in Texas history, but NFL history. Still getting it done at such a high level.
Texas has won 6 straight home games, the best since they won 16 in a row from 2007 2010. It's their final Big 12 home game. They win tonight. They are in the Big 12 title game in Arlington. Opponent to be determined tomorrow. Could be a rematch with Oklahoma depending on what happens. The Sooners won today. And here's Trey McCray out the gate. Kicker to beat. And McCray run out of bounds by Will Stone, the kickoff man, but a good return into Texas territory. This season for every field goal and extra point made by participating universities, All-State will make a contribution to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, All-State. 55-yard return by McCray to put the ball at the 44 of Texas. We mentioned a Longhorn win. They're in. And then see what happens tomorrow. Can Oklahoma State beat BYU? Kansas State, Iowa State, important game there as well. If Texas loses, they'll need help to get into the Big 12 title game. Got a 10-0 lead. And Taj Brooks back on the field. Man, it is so hard to bring him down. Brooks inside the 30. They finally get to him at the 20. Wow, what a run. 15 yards.
There's nowhere to go. I mean, it stopped in the middle, nowhere to go. But Taj Brooks just continues to fight through contact. The contact balance off the charts. What a run by Taj Brooks. 25 yards on that carry, 45 on the day, and most of it is after contact. It's remarkable. Morton to the air, and that pass off the mark, and he had Xavier White open. We mentioned Taj Brooks is from the Austin area, about 15 minutes away from DKR Stadium. He was almost offered late by Texas. He wanted to go to Texas, but at that point, Texas Tech was offering him a scholarship, a chance to play early on in his career. Texas showed a lot of interest late, but he had already made his commitment. He was injured 2 years ago when they played here, so he didn't suit up. He said he's got about 50 or 60 people here tonight in the stands watching him. In trouble, Morton on second down, spins away, now throws complete inside the 20. Aiken on the catch, but wrapped up after a short gain. I don't think Baron Morton was expecting this snap. He was stepping forward, looked like to make a check. Jalen Ford gets there immediately. Really nice job by Morton, just to buy himself a little bit of time, spinning out, locating Coy Aiken. That could have been all kinds of bad, and instead, it's a decent pickup on second down. Third down and 7 against the #1 third down defense in the country, Texas. They go empty for Morton. Now changing some things up here. Play clock inside 10 seconds. High snap. Morton pulls it down. Being chased by Burke. Throwing into the end zone. Incomplete. Some hand fighting and a flag. Xavier White and Keaton Crawford got tangled up in the end zone. Penalty marker down. I think this is going to go on Keaton Crawford. Sprint action, tried to hit White on a corner route. A lot of contact down the field. And
pass interference, defense number 21. A foul occurred in the end zone. By rule, the ball will be placed on the 2-yard line. Automatic first down.
And Keaton Crawford never got turned around. Back to the quarterback, and just too much contact down the field. That ball's in the air. His back's to the football, and he continued to contact. Matt, do you agree with that flag?
I do agree with it. He quit playing the ball. He had his left hand on the hip of the receiver pulling him back, so I think that was a good call.
So first down and goal from the 2. Will they just hammer it here with Brooks against that great front? No. Morton keeping it into the end zone for the touchdown. Maybe Texas thought that's what the Red Raiders were going to do. because everybody collapsed on Taj Brooks, and Baron Morton took it in for a huge score.
What a response by Texas Tech. Get the big return from McCray, chunk run from Taj Brooks, and cash it in for a touchdown. Joey McGuire told us they're going to get a fight from us in Austin. Excellent response after Texas took a 2-score lead.
And the extra point is good from Gino Garcia. 10-7 Longhorns late first quarter.
Baylor Cup's going to work back across, actually going to be the lead blocker on this. Just inside, read zone, and Baron Morton, he sees as Sorrell collapses down, goes inside. He knows he can get to the perimeter. He's got that safety valve, and Baylor Cup out in front to solidify that block, and it's a walk-in touchdown by Texas Tech. Love the call by Zach Kitley. You read that backside defensive end, and Baron Sorrell, if he crashes, it's a keep for the quarterback. If he would have stayed high, he would have given it to Taj Brooks, and it's 6 for the Red Raiders.
You look at the numbers for Baron Morton, his 4th rushing touchdown of the season. He's had some drops. He's been off the mark on some throws. There was a stretch. We talked early on about the injury that he had to his throwing shoulder. He went 5 weeks without even throwing a pass in practice. Yet he would play in the games on Saturday and play well, winning 3 in a row, including a victory at Kansas. Short kickoff on the run. It's Keelan Robinson trying to find a lane, and he's out to the 26 as we check in with Kevin Negandhi in the studio.
Dave, time now for our Chick-fil-A move on the field. Let's go double overtime. Utah State down 3 to New Mexico. And Berg, look at Levi Williams.
Yeah, in a game that had 338 penalty yards, Levi decided, I'm going to make a play, end it, let's go home.
5 total touchdowns for Williams, and Utah State becomes bowl eligible with that touchdown, 44-41. Back to you, Dave.
All right, fellas, here it's 10-7 Texas. Longhorns taking over on their 26-yard line after the Red Raiders hit pay dirt for the first time. And Ewers throwing it out in space to Jaden Blue. And Blue across the 30, brought down after a 5-yard gain at the 31.
See that burst on the perimeter by Jaden Blue.
Man.
What did it look like from down there, Tom? What did it look quick from up here?
Ooh, he can get from 0 to 60 in a hurry. And you talked about the speed of Keelan Robinson. He's a bigger version of Keelan Robinson.
1 quarter in the books in Austin. Texas 10, Texas Tech 7. Back after these messages.
Coach, 2 red zone stops. You get a nice return, big run, and nice touchdown. How do you sustain some consistency offensively on early downs here in the second quarter?
We gotta run the ball. You know, I mean, it's been hard to run against these guys, but we've had some success. 28 is really special, so we got to stay ahead of the sticks on first down and run the football.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
There's no doubt Taj Brooks, big difference maker in that first quarter for Texas Tech. Texas able to run the ball here. Big hole for Jaden Blue. Got great speed. Outrunning everybody. Blue into the end zone. Touchdown. 69 yards. The coaches said he's a home run hitter. That was a grand slam. Second touchdown of the season for Jaden Blue, and the Longhorns grab momentum back with a big play. And so far in this game, they have outgained Texas Tech 200 to 54. It's a season-long run for Texas as a team. They lead it by 10.
Well, the center, Jake Majors, right guard, DJ Campbell, is where this play is going to happen. Staple of what Texas wants to do and who they are is their ability to be a zone blocking team. Good movement from Jake Majors. You see Hayden Connor get up to the second level as well. Cut off that linebacker. Big hole opens up, and it's heels to the field for Jaden Blue. That burst, that acceleration, you get him on the second level, and look out. Safety, C.J. Baskerville, no chance in a foot race. This offensive line of Texas, it's been physical, it's been paving paths for Texas ball carriers all year.
After Big Texas Tech is missing Jalen Hutchings on the inside for them. Going to make his 58th straight start, which would have been the second longest active streak, but that comes to an end today. He is out. And here's McCray, who just had a big return. He's got a 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, but it's Xavier White who is the return man on this play. And up to the 23-yard line. Big 12 now on ESPN+. Tuesday's featured college basketball matchup includes Eastern Illinois and Kansas. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com/Big 12 now. Final Big 12 game for Texas in the regular season. A win and the Longhorns will be in the Big 12 title game next week. If they were to lose, they'll need some help. Kansas State, Oklahoma State playing tomorrow. Oklahoma a winner earlier today, so could be a rematch with the Sooners if Oklahoma State were to lose to BYU. Just a reset of the play clock. Dave Pasch, Dusty Dvorak, Tom Luginbill. Texas ranked 7th, the second highest ranked one-loss team according to the playoff selection committee. Oregon, one place in front of them. Morton out in space, huge hit at the 22-yard line. Derek Williams lowering the boom on Boyd.
Well, there's a lot to like about Derek Williams. You're going to see him come up and just make an excellent play downhill, open field tackle. You can't draw it up any better than that. Exploding through the legs of Boyd. It's well done by the true freshman.
Boyd's first catch of the year, and boy, did he pay for it. Morton with time to throw here, and it's a strike to Aiken. Wrestled out of play at the 30, a gain of about 7. Michael Taff and Muhammad over there for Texas, so 3rd down and 2.
Ball placement, an outside shoulder working the comeback route. It's that chemistry that's been built up over a long time between Baron Morton and Foy Aiken. No wonder this Taj Brooks zone, 3rd and short.
In trouble, dumping it off, and close to the first down is Dre McCray. It looks like he's got it. McCray was an FCS All-American at Austin Peay. We talked about his acumen as a returner. Did a good job there to get the sticks after the catch. So on the fresh set of downs, another pass play, climbing the pocket, and Morton taking off across the 40, dives out to the 46-yard line. It's a first down and a gain of 14.
Well, the pass rush lanes break down, and it's good identification by Baron Morton. Brought an inside, spun across the center, opened up a big hole for Morton to take advantage of.
Delayed blitz, underneath pass to McCray. And he's dropped by Jalen Ford after a pickup of 1. I think this deserves mention again. We said this when we introduced Baron Morton. Think of all the great quarterbacks they've had at Texas Tech. Right now, the best guy playing the position, Patrick Mahomes. But Baron Morton is the highest rated quarterback recruit ever signed by Texas Tech. Mahomes played, obviously, a lot of baseball. Was a little under the radar at the time as a football player. Morton is definitely talented. We've seen some of that on display here in the first half. And a flag down here. Texas Tech yet to be penalized. Texas with 4 penalties, which kept a couple of Tech drives alive, but this will be on the Red Raiders.
Snap. Offense number 56. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Dennis Wilburn is the center.
You know, back to Morton. I mean, we've touched on it several times, but I'm a little surprised how much they're running him tonight, given the fact that he's not fully healthy from that AC sprain. Yet we've seen him really have success on the ground, utilizing his mobility.
And he's not sliding either.
No, he's diving head first. Got hurt initially against West Virginia, hurt again against Kansas State. Jake Strong started the game. Tyler Shuck started at the beginning of the year. Morton's pass batted, and was it to T'Vondre Sweat, who got a hand on an incomplete pass, but Sweat, who was recently named just one of 2 defensive players as a finalist for the Walter Camp Player of the Year award.
When they bring a pressure, Binda gets home, and it's big T'Vondre Sweat. He's done that so many times throughout the course of the year. 6'4", 360, so stout against the run, a good interior pass rusher, but he has a great knack for shutting down his pass rush, getting those big paws, and throwing lanes.
Leatu Latu is one of the best edge rushers in the country. He's the only other defensive player on that 10-man list for the Walter Camp. Morton, wallop back at the 30 by Anthony Hill. Loss of 11.
Well, Anthony Hill Jr., he was very emotional early. You're going to see him just work around. Such a good sub-package rusher. No one able to pick him up. Well schemed by Pete Kwiatkowski. And you see the closing speed to the quarterback from Anthony Hill Jr. as he slings Barrett Morton to the ground.
Remember, Texas Tech has a different long snapper, Jason Mock. It's been a little interesting watching him snap on punts and also on a kick. This time it's blocked. It'll be Texas ball at the 20-yard line. Don't know if that was on the snap or if that was just somebody missing a block, but it was Michael Taff that was there for the Longhorns. You had LaFau back there as well. We'll see who gets credited with the block punt.
Michael Taff just going to come right off the edge. Times this up perfectly. That snap was a little wobbly. Times it up, gets the hand out, and a huge play for the Longhorn special teams.
It was LaFau that recovered it, Taft that blocked it. We were just mentioning Jackson Knotts got hurt early in the game. He's the starting long snapper. So Jacob Mock, the backup, has been out there. It's been a struggle for him so far. Timeout Texas Tech will step away with 11:03 to go in the half. Texas looking to add to a 10-point lead. Trying to keep their college football playoff hopes alive and advance to the Big 12 championship game with a win. If Texas Tech were to come back and knock off the Longhorns, they would need Oklahoma State to lose or Kansas State to win tomorrow. They just recovered a block punt, looking to add to their lead. Ewers, pump fake, fires, open receiver, caught, Worthy. And they're going to say it's out of bounds, incomplete. Hit the pylon before he made the catch.
Boy, missed opportunity. Xavier Worthy, little decoy, acting as if he's going to block on a swing screen and then releases. Nobody identifies him as Worthy wide open, the corner of the end zone.
But hit the pylon.
Yeah, hit the pylon, yeah. It's like he lost track of where he was on the field.
Now, if you drifting, you catch it and then hit the pylon, then it's a touchdown. Yep. So 2nd and 10. C.J. Baxter off left tackle. Penalty marker down pre-snap.
False start. Offense number 78. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
They have almost as many penalty yards in the first half, 44, as they average for an entire game. They average around 48 penalty yards. Now that's the only reason that Texas Tech is still hanging around is because of penalties that have kept drives going for Texas Tech.
Right, the only thing that Sark looks at in this first half, and he's a little frustrated with his team. Kelvin Banks Jr. only had 1 penalty all of last year. He's had some struggles with that this season.
Play action pass. Ewers setting up, pressure on him. He sensed it, then he goes down at the 27-yard line. There's an injured Texas player. Miles Cole had backside pressure that time. Jatavion Sanders shaken up. We mentioned earlier in the game that he was hurt last week. He's been battling injury for a good part of this year. It'll be 3rd and 17 for Texas, and we come back as 8 Eastern ABC, ESPN Deportes. Well, we can report that Jatavion Sanders ran off at the end under his own power. Kind of an awkward landing as 2 Texas Tech players collided. He kind of got caught in the middle of it. Mentioned that he's been banged up a lot this year. So not on the field right now for 3rd down and 17. Quinn Ewers just 2 for his last 6 and 0 for 2 passing on 3rd down. A short throw here to Baxter, and Baxter gets to the 20 before he's knocked down by Taylor Demerson. And so the Longhorns will have to bring on the field goal unit here on 4th down and about 10, and got 2 more injured players, 1 on each side. Brendan Jordan is shaken up for Texas Tech and trying to see the jersey number for the injured Longhorn. Going to break, we're trying to identify the injured Texas player. Couldn't see the number. It's Xavier Worthy, who also was hurt last week against Iowa State. He is in the tent right now. And here's the injury as he and Brendan Jordan both shaken up on this play. Brendan Jordan, Texas Tech.
Left leg got caught as Ben Roberts rolled into him. Hopefully we'll have an update for you quickly on Xavier Worthy.
Keep in mind, Jonathan Brooks again, their star running back, out for the year, injured against TCU 2 weeks ago, tore his ACL, due for surgery next week. Quinn Ewers missed some time with an injured throwing shoulder. High snap, and the kick is good again for Bert Auburn, who has set the school record all by himself, making 16 field goals in a row, extending the Texas lead to 20-7. Here's Kevin in the studio.
Dave, time now for our AT&T countdown to the CFP National Championship. Number 6 Oregon hosting Oregon State, and this is what Bo Nix does so well, Boog.
No doubt in the ever-expanding category of Bo Nix touchdown passes to Bucky Irvin. The Heisman is taking notice, Kev.
A lot of yak. 7-0 Oregon on top right now. Back to you, Dave.
Obviously, Texas keeping an eye on that, with Oregon 1 spot ahead of the Longhorns, who will move on to the Big 12 title game with a win. Obviously, keep their college football playoff hopes alive with a win.
No question about that. They put themselves in prime position. As Steve Sarkisian told us, it feels great to be in this spot. This is why we do what we do. And they control their own destiny, as he told us, and they've got the chance to leave, no doubt.
You think that's warranted, that Oregon's ahead of them? You think they're the better one-loss team than Texas?
I think you're basing that purely off of eye test. I don't think you're basing it off of resume. I think to this point, Texas has the better wins. They got the better strength of record, but obviously the committee thinks Oregon's been more impressive.
Trying to keep it away from Dre McCray, kicking it to White again. And White will not make it to the 30. Let's get an update on Worthy from Tom.
Yeah, guys, Xavier Worthy came out of the tent and has been bouncing around, moving around. It clearly is the lower extremity. It looks like he's just kind of trying to work through any type of range of motion, any type of pain tolerance. So keep in mind, this doesn't just affect the offensive side of the football. It has a big impact on the ability to flip field position and score in the kicking game. So let's see when they get back on offense if he's ready to go.
Been a remarkable season for Worthy, a remarkable career with the Longhorns. I see Sark talking to him right now as the defense is out there for Texas. Here's Brooks, able to bust it to the outside. And again, welcoming contact from Crawford, but Blackwell came in at the end with the big hit. Penalty flag down, though.
Holding. Offense number 53. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
It's on Rusty Stats, the right guard. So that wipes out positive yardage for Brooks.
Well, this is a drive killer, going from what could have been a nice pickup on first down to now 1st and 20. Stats to Puller coming around. He gets outside of the framework on Alfred Collins and pulls him to the ground.
So it's 1st down and 20. Brooks in the backfield, slammed to the ground. There's Tavondre Sweat. Now Sweat has a pass batted down and now a tackle for a loss.
Well, Sweat's going to make the tackle, but Finkley sets it up, sets a good firm edge, taking on that blocker, condensing the space. It's Jalen Ford, it's Tavondre Sweat. It's a good glimpse at one of the best run defenses in all of college football.
Texas Tech going the wrong way. Penalty, now a 3-yard loss. Morton backing up and launching it out of bounds with everybody covered downfield. It'll be 3rd down and 23.
But a coverage down the field, nowhere for Barrett Morton to go with the football. Finkley gets home with a little bit of pressure, and this Texas Tech offense headed in the wrong direction right now.
Part of the issue, too, is when he's rolling right, he's never rolling right and forward to push the ball downfield on balance. He's always off his back foot.
Yeah, we've seen that a lot. And he's had guys open downfield, too, just not been able to get enough on the ball. One time he did, and the ball was dropped. They had a dropped interception as well, so Texas Tech not helping itself. Hard enough against this Texas defense. They just concede here and run Brooks back to the 20 for about 4 yards, and so Tech will have to punt. At the 9-minute mark here in the second quarter, Ryan Watts is back in the game. Made the stop for Texas. He was hurt on the first play.
And Jalen Ford as well. Jalen Ford very active on that series, getting off of blocks and getting in on tackling Taj Brooks. And Hunting comes out, but this has not been an easy task so far.
Xavier Worthy is out there. That's good news. Keep in mind, Texas just blocked a punt and a bad snap earlier. They almost got there again. Worthy with the fair catch around the 43. Just a 38-yard punt for McNamara. Got to wonder about that snapper.
It's an early on a swing pass. Is actually behind the line of scrimmage. Going to be a run. You see the burst from him, and then Jaden Blue. Zone running game, daylight, and touchdown. As the replacing of Jonathan Brooks, it's been by committee here tonight. We've seen C.J. Baxter, we've seen Jaden Blue, a little bit of Keelan Robinson, and the Texas offense getting it done here against Texas Tech.
And Jatavion Sanders is back in the game, so that's good news for the Longhorns. Ewers throwing here, Whittington on the catch, knocked out of bounds in Texas Tech territory. Texas Tech, since it scored the touchdown, doesn't have a single yard. Meanwhile, Texas has been able to move the ball at will, but they have been stopped a couple times in the red zone and had to settle for field goals. Baxter, big running lane. Another Longhorn first down. Tackled by Taylor Demerson, but after a gain of 13.
Boy, nice job on the left side. It's Hayden Connor. It's Kelvin Banks Jr. paving the way for C.J. Baxter.
Baxter again off left tackle. Down to the 31. Gain of 4 on the play. Now, last week we saw Quinn Ewers get sacked 4 times. We've really only seen him pressured once. We haven't really seen any negative plays at all in the run game. Texas completely dominating, even though it hasn't had the ball very long. Only had it for about 10 minutes in this game.
The difference in this Texas team from previous years, offensive and defensive line. This team, both sides of the ball, built from the inside out.
Ewers getting rid of it here to Whittington inside the 25. Coming all the way over to this side of the field. And dumped at the 19. Another first down. Gain of 12.
I love some of the play design from Steve Sarkisian. Little throwback screen to Jordan Whittington. Set up perfectly. The lineman out front. And then the vision in the open field from Whittington.
Going to come back and try to run Jaden Blue. Got maybe a yard. If you're a Texas fan, your eyes light up when you see Jordan Whittington making plays, because as there's another injured player for Texas Tech, it's Joseph Adedire. But Jordan Whittington, his 5th year, but 3 of his seasons have really been marred by injury. He's the leader of the team, and one thing that he talked about it with us when we met with him this week, he said, we have a John Wick mentality. Now, yeah, Dusty, I haven't seen John Wick, I know, but we had to get him to explain to us a little bit what that John Wick mentality means. They actually have a book. I guess there's a John Wick book that has the characteristics of what it means to be John Wick, and Jordan Whittington says that's what we do. We study that, and we go out there and we execute it. Staying dangerous is one of the things. You got to stay dangerous.
Well, and a big part of this was, the culture that Sark has created. They had a leadership meeting, and they talked that they wanted this John Wick mentality. Keep your cool, be able to adapt, and like you always are, Dave, I know it's a Creole, you live by stay dangerous.
That's right. As a play-by-play guy, you have to.
And it's worked to perfection. They've really embraced that. As you touched on, they've got a book that outlines the John Wick philosophy. And,
it's just,
he acted like they truly bought into this mentality.
Yeah. Yep.
And essentially, it's because everyone's after John Wick. The target's on him, and he doesn't back down. He faced it head on, and that's the mindset of this Texas football team.
Ewers underthrown and intercepted in the end zone. Braylon Lux with a huge pick as Texas was about to extend the lead.
Interception. Touchback.
Boy, do the Red Raiders need that.
Had to have it, Dave. Had to have it. Had to come up with a play, come up with a stop. And it's Braylon Lux just one-on-one with Adonai Mitchell. And he's trying to throw the fade. He doesn't get any air underneath the football. And I love the ball skills by Braylon Lux. He's only 5'11", but he climbs the ladder, high points the football, and gets a huge Texas Tech interception.
Dusty, I feel like Quinn Ewers on that play short-armed it a little bit. Had he thrown that up and over, I think the height advantage and the ability for Adonai Mitchell to make this spectacular elevated play would have been there for a touchdown.
Yeah, he needed to put more in the football, wasn't able to. It's a huge play for Texas Tech.
But can Texas Tech do anything with it against this stout Texas defense? Morton to throw. And the pass is caught for a first down by Coy Aiken at the 33. Good start to this possession after the takeaway, 13 yards.
Well, it's really good timing, just a comeback route. Ball's on Aiken immediately. You see the strong hands from him, and he's had quite the career already at Texas Tech. Broken collarbone in the spring, broken collarbone in fall camp. He's fought his way back. Has become a key piece to this Tech receiving corps the last several games.
You mentioned the relationship with Morton. They grew up together, they hunt together, fish together, and played football together growing up. Brooks running right. Again, so hard to bring down. It's taken 3 or 4 Longhorns just about every time Brooks gets a touch for those guys to get him down. He only gets 1 yard, but he's delivering blows to defenders.
Not an easy man to get to the ground, that's for sure. We've seen that on display here in this first half. And this is not an easy defense to run the football on. We went into the game 5th in the country, stopping the run for Texas, but it's the 3rd leading rusher. Good on good here in Austin tonight.
They held Iowa State to 9 rushing yards last week. Texas did. That pass underthrown, and Terrence Brooks got the interception for the Longhorns. So the Red Raiders give it right back.
Rolling on the field is an interception.
Getting his 3rd interception of the season.
Well, this is just sticky, outstanding coverage. Bradley unable to get any separation whatsoever. Just right in the hip pocket of the wide receiver, and makes an outstanding play going to the ground, turning into the wide receiver. And arms underneath the football. I just wanted to make sure that the arms are underneath the football. That's just an excellent play in tight man-to-man coverage, undercutting that route and getting the takeaway for the Longhorns.
It's really hard to tell if he secures that ball. If you can't see the ball, you would imagine that this play would stand. But man, Texas, they faced adversity in just about every game this year, even games where they
previous plays under further review. The ruling on the field is an interception.
Teams have come back, but Texas was able to hold on in those games. They turned it over in the red zone. They've had some struggles punching it in today in the red zone, but they come right back with the pick. That's if it stands.
At first view we saw, it looked like his forearms underneath the football. This might be the better view from the backside. Does that ball ever touch the ground? I don't see it touch the ground, Dave.
But again, ruling on the field is a catch, and it's awfully hard to say with certainty via replay that it wasn't a catch.
Well, I think it's going to stand, yeah.
I would imagine.
I don't see anything there. It's going to change or overturn this call. Great play. It's a great play by Terrence Brooks.
And all the things that Texas Tech has needed to do to have a chance to pull an upset, they haven't done. They've dropped the ball, they turned it over, blocked punt. Had a chance at an interception on Ewers in the red zone in the first quarter. Actually, it was on a double pass on Worthy, and Malik Dunlap dropped an easy pick on the goal line. Just don't think there's enough video evidence to overturn the ruling of a catch.
Just say how you really feel. You want him to speed this up.
That would help too. I mean, it's one of the reasons why, you know, they've done things obviously to try to speed the game up. We're still not there yet. The games are still. You knew you were going to be going on this. Because it still takes too long.
Let's go.
Look, I heard Dean Blandino say this in a game earlier today. It was a play that was pretty obvious that you didn't have enough video evidence. So if you can't tell, if it's not beyond all doubt, let's move on. Because at this point, there's still doubt. Move on.
Let's go. No, I'm completely with you. I just mess with you, Dave.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. First down, Texas.
So Texas will have the ball at the Texas Tech 41-yard line. The Longhorns trying to keep their college football playoff hopes alive. Oregon is playing Oregon State right now. Alabama has to play Auburn, obviously, and then Georgia in the SEC championship. Texas clinches a spot in next week's Big 12 title game, which you can see on ABC from Arlington. And they have not lost consecutive games to Tech in 25 years. Tech got them last year in Lubbock. Baxter downhill inside the 25, down to the 24-yard line, or 34, excuse me, for 7 yards.
Boy, when he gets north and south and puts that shoulder down, get out the way. Nice physical piece of running from C.J. Baxter on the interior of that offensive line.
The injuries at the running back spot for Texas have not really made any difference in the production. It just shows you how deep that room is for the Longhorns.
Sharp choice, done a great job as the running backs coach.
Baxter again down to the 30. Another Texas first down. Tackled by Ben Roberts.
Personnel groupings, they can throw so much at you. They're in 12 personnel now. One back, two tights. Gunnar Helm, Jatavion Sanders, an improved blocker, helping with this rushing attack.
Ewers throwing this time. Open in the middle of the field for another first down is Mitchell. Haven't called his name very often today, but gets 20 yards there to the 10.
Again, RPO, linebackers up, middle of the field's wide open, and a strike to Adonai Mitchell. So good in the RPO game.
Play action again. Ewers dumping it off to Gunnar Helm. Bounces off one defender, then pushed out at the 5. 12th catch of the year for Helm, who stepped up when Sanders got hurt against Iowa State last week. Had a touchdown in that game. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 6.
When Ewers took a big hit as he delivered that football, Adrian Taylor Demerson.
That's that throwing shoulder that Demerson just hit there. And the ball's on the ground. Ewers trying to dive on it. Remember, they just turned it over down here on the last possession. Ewers got it back. He loses a couple yards, and it'll be 3rd and goal.
Well, C.J. Baxter was not even expecting the football whatsoever. Ewers tries to put it in there at the mesh point, and Baxter wasn't even ready. Nice job by Ewers to jump on that football with a 2nd red zone turnover if he doesn't get on top of that.
3 minutes to go in the half. 3rd down and goal on the Texas Tech 8-yard line. They flex both those tight ends out and have a timeout here by Texas Tech. Obviously a big down here for the Red Raiders.
They're 2nd of the half.
I would imagine Joey McGuire feels like if we give up a touchdown here, we got a real difficult chance to win this game. We got to hold them to 3, so they take a timeout. Let's check in with Kevin.
Got the 1 halftime report just minutes away. Booger McFarland, Kevin Nagani here in Oregon's offense. We have more highlights coming your way as they host Oregon State College Game Days. Joining us from Ann Arbor, excited the big game tomorrow with Michigan and Ohio State. You like what you're seeing from Texas so far, right?
No doubt. That first drive, they take it down, they score. Even though they turn the football over in the red zone, I like the pace in which they're playing. They're trying to get big plays and put the ball into the end zone.
Yeah, that first drive, you could tell it was a different team.
Exactly.
They were flowing really well. Yeah. We'll have, of course, many more highlights. Talk a little bit about Oklahoma as well. Back to you, Dave.
All right, Kev. Talk to you guys here in a little bit. 3rd and goal for Texas after the Texas Tech timeout, leaving the Red Raiders with 1. Ewers to the air. Everybody covered. Ewers throws it out of the back of the end zone as he took a shot back at the 15-yard line from Bradford. It'll be 4th down. Red Raiders hold again in the red zone.
It's good coverage. Looked like Jordan Whittington broke open late, but Quinn Ewers unable to find him, and the pressure gets home at the end of this pass play. Nice job by him as Tony Bradford gets the 2nd big hit of that series on Quinn Ewers. Throws out of the back of the end zone.
And so Bert Auburn, who's already made 2 field goals in this game, and now 16 in a row. 26-yarder. And 3 more points for the Longhorns, extending the lead to 16. All right, no cheating, Mr. Dvorak. I have the card here. Don't look to see what the answer is. They have flat trivia questions. I'm over on the other side of the booth here trying to keep you from looking at this. All right, this season, the second time in the history of college football playoff that the same 8 schools have occupied the top 8 spots in each of the first 4 rankings. What was the other year?
Ouch.
I mean,
talk about a difficult question.
2017, I remember it very well.
Lugs?
I'm going to go 2018.
What do you say?
I'm going to say 2014, year 1 of the playoff. I have no clue.
No, I don't think
I have no idea.
Ohio State made that late push. 2014.
Somebody dug deep this week.
Well, you guys have been too easy this year. You guys have been getting every single one of them.
Really smart. Give us credit. Jeez.
Well, I know you got 41 in the Wonderlic. Tom's Wonderlic score somehow got lost. We haven't been able to find it. It's one of those great mysteries. We'll get Anthony Jones on it. McCray and White are deep. This will go into the end zone for a touchback. All right, should we answer this thing now?
What you got?
All right, let's answer the Aflac trivia question. Second time in the history of the college football playoff, the same 8 schools have occupied the top 8 spots in each of the first 4 rankings. What was the other year? You say 18, Tom said 17, I said 14. What do we got?
I said 17, Tom said 18, you said 14. Oh, Tom! Look at Tom.
You did not know that.
What do you mean I didn't know that? Did I just get it right?
Great job, Tommy.
Thank you, buddy. You and I just hang together.
Well done.
We'll overcome Dave.
Taj Brooks on first down. Pushed back. Jalen Ford, Alfred Collins in there. Haven't talked a lot about Jalen Ford. Was at one point up for the Dick Butkus Award. Keeps a picture of Dick Butkus in his wallet, because he would so badly wanted to win that award. He was a semifinalist. And the first down, Brooks trying to go up into the air. And Jaron Thompson got him to the ground, but it is a first down. Clock will continue to run. We're outside 2 minutes to go. 1 timeout remaining for Tech. Trying to go tempo here. Brooks again with room between the tackles. And up to the 42.
Tight end insert there. Baylor coming in almost like an ISO block on the linebacker. Productive running here. False start, right guard. As soon as you get something going here, then you shoot yourself in the foot.
False start. Offense number 53. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Rusty Stat's got a bad stat today. It's his second penalty here in the quarter.
He had the hold earlier whenever he pulled around on a nice Taj Brooks run. And, you know, really what they want to do is get this Texas defense on their heels. Not let them get their cleats in the ground. You saw the breakneck pace that they were moving at. This just absolutely kills what they had going with this drive.
Been under pressure for a good part of this game. Going to keep it on the ground. Gets back to the 42, but that clock is running. Third down coming up. Going to save the timeout. 90 seconds to go. Third down at 5. Baron Morton, 9 of 17, 35 passing yards. And he's also thrown 2 picks, and he's been sacked twice. Been a rough first half for the sophomore quarterback. Now a Texas timeout.
Timeout. Texas. Their first of the half, 30-second timeout.
So 1:12 remaining. We've had Texas several times, and boy, they've looked impressive every time we've had them. Do you feel like, as you look at the rankings, since we just talked about the top 8, you feel like 7, is that accurate, or do you see them as a top 5 team?
Look, I think right now you could put them at 6. You could put them at 7. I think that resume-wise, they should be ahead of Oregon. If you just look at strictly resume.
Yeah.
Go eye test, Oregon has been more impressive in some of their wins. But I think Texas has the best win of the season going into Tuscaloosa and what they're able to do, beating Nick Saban's team by double digits. By the way, no one else has ever done that since Nick Saban's been the head coach at Alabama. So, you know, I mean, I think it's potato. If you're more of a resume person, I think Texas should be 6. If you're more of an eye test person, I understand why you put Oregon there at 6.
You would think most of it will sort itself out. Usually does. 3rd down and 5. Morton's pass is caught short of the sticks, though. Aiken did not get the first down. It's 4th down. Big hit by Thompson and Holmes. And at this point, Texas Tech has to go for it, right?
I mean, look, that's what Joey McGuire does. I don't know if it's right now. It's just pretty much all the time. This is the MO of Texas Tech. Very analytics driven. Tell you what, though, you don't get it. You give a short field to Quinn Ewers in this offense, you can make a 2-score game, a 3-score game very quickly.
Morton rolling out. His pass short of the sticks again to Brooks. And tackled by Hill. The clock will stop on the turnover on downs at the 45 with 31 seconds left.
Boy, Anthony Hill Jr. has just been all over the field. And it's excellent identification of Taj Brooks out of the backfield. Watch him right here. Just going to mirror Taj Brooks as he comes out of the backfield, works his way over the top, and the closing speed to the football, and it's catch tackle in front of the sticks. He had a big 3rd down sack earlier. Now a big 4th down stop. The true freshman playing like a veteran here in this game tonight.
Dusty, on both 3rd and 4th down, the passes were thrown short of the sticks. That on the quarterback, that on the receivers, combination.
It's a combination of both, man. You've got to push that route up to the sticks, and if you're Baron Morton, you got to recognize exactly where those sticks are.
Ewers going downtown here in the first play. Incomplete. Trying to hit Worthy. Dunlap in coverage. 26 seconds to go in the half.
Malik Dunlap's been a good cornerback here at Texas Tech the last couple of years. Good position. Kind of mistimed his jump there. Jumped early. But Xavier Worthy kind of limping off the field after that deep shot attempt.
Got hurt earlier in the game as well. Targeted 5 times so far. 2 catches. 65 in the year for Worthy. He's 3rd in the conference in that category. It's his 3rd year with 60 catches. Only he and Roy Williams, the 2 Texas Longhorns, to do that all time. Going to run it here with Blue. He had a big run for a touchdown earlier in the game. Got the first down here. They'll reset the chain so the clock stops for now. It's a gain of 13.
A counter action gap scheme. Pull Hayden Connor. Jatavion Sanders with a key block to help spring that run by Blue. What a night for Jaden Blue.
And they're going to run Blue again here. Down to the 25. Will Texas use a timeout? They will stop the clock with 10 seconds left. So you probably got 1, maybe
timeout.
2 pass plays.
Texas.
Or they may just
They're 2nd of the half.
put the ball
30-second
where
timeout.
their kicker, Bert Auburn, would like it. So we were talking about Texas being ranked 7th. And let's take a look at the resume. You mentioned they have probably the best win of anybody this year, beating Alabama.
It's the best win.
They're ahead of Alabama right now. They have the number 9 strength of schedule. The 1 loss was late against Oklahoma. And yeah, and you've got a game tomorrow between Michigan and Ohio State, so 1 unbeaten is going to go down there.
Yep.
Florida State without Jordan Travis has Florida tomorrow, and then Louisville in the ACC
Bama, Georgia.
Yep.
Going to play in the SEC championship game. So there's a lot of football left to be played. Texas handles their business, like Sark said. He told us it'll all work out the way it's supposed to. We shall see.
So 10 seconds left. Ewers going to throw. Pressure on. Ewers gets out of there somehow. Got to get rid of it. He does. And the pass is incomplete with 2 seconds left. Boy, if he didn't throw that ball when he did and ran another yard or 2, time may have expired.
It looked like he glanced up at the clock and saw the time ticking down.
Xavier Worthy getting help to the locker room. That's not good at all for Texas. Big 12 championship game next week. Should they win, or even if somehow they were to lose, still need help. But the schedules tomorrow favor Texas getting to the Big 12
has used their
title
final
game.
timeout of the half.
Timeout called by Texas Tech.
You had touched on earlier, this is our 4th time to call a Texas game this year, and they've been pretty impressive in all the games. It kind of went to sleep defensively against TCU a couple weeks ago. We had that game, and it's only one half, and I do think it's worth pointing out, against Houston, they had a 21-point lead. Against Kansas State, a 20-point lead. Against TCU, a 20-point lead. All games in which those teams came back, but to this point, as good as Texas looked when we called their games, this is the best they've looked all season. So, hey, talk about saving your best for last. Now, 2 more quarters to play, but man, if they've been impressive here so far.
Checking with Tom.
Yeah, guys, I think the one thing is we're touching on Texas and where do they fit? Are they worthy of a college football playoff berth, or are they that talented? I think they are. I think you guys think they are. But the difference has been between them and other contenders is they have not put their foot on the throat of the opponent when they've had them down. You just touched on it, Dusty. That's what they've got to do. They got to put people away.
They'll have a chance to do that in the second half. Tom looking to add to their lead right now. 44-yard field goal try. Auburn 3 for 3 in the day. 17 consecutive made field goals, making 18 in a row. This guy can't miss. Unconscious right now. Like Steph Curry from deep. This doesn't matter. Bert Auburn extends the lead to 19, 26-7 over Texas Tech. Conference on ESPN. So far, so good for 7th-ranked Texas, trying to keep its playoff hopes alive and secure a spot in Arlington next week. 26-7 they lead. Dave Pasch with Dusty Dvorak, Tom Luginbill down on the field. We started the game talking about Texas defense, and here we are at halftime talking about Texas defense.
Well, they lived up to the billing in the first half. Just 108 total yards for Texas Tech. 2 takeaways. Here's one from Terrence Brooks. And Anthony Hill Jr. had an early personal foul, but man, was he outstanding on the blitz. 3rd down, 4th and 2, right there in the hip pocket of Taj Brooks, and it's catch tackle short of the line to gain. Texas with 2 sacks, 6 hurries, couple of takeaways. Taj Brooks got going a little bit, but overall, this Texas defense has lived up to it and some with the way they played in that first half.
Just 38 passing yards allowed, and see the total offense there. The Texas offense pretty good too. 299 yards, and they got stopped several times in the red zone and had to settle for field goals. Otherwise, you might have 40 points right now. Keelan Robinson on the return. There he goes. Robinson inside the 40. They finally get a chance. Everybody breaks the tackle, and Robinson looking back at the defender. Touchdown, Texas. 95-yard return.
And this Texas team is chock full of speed. Keelan Robinson literally shot out of a cannon as he hits that downhill. The blocking was there. Looked like maybe Texas Tech would have a chance to get into the ground, but it wasn't going to happen. No better way for Steve Sarkisian's team to start this second half than a kick return for a touchdown from Keelan Robinson.
They are demolishing a Texas Tech team that was playing really well. Won 3 games in a row. Actually played a tight game with Oregon. Week 2. Had a chance to win that game.
Blocking was there, hat on a hat. Keelan Robinson makes one defender miss. And then it's the speed in the open field. You're not gonna get him. Wow. We talked earlier in the first half, Texas' inability to put their foot on the throat of their opponent when they got him down. Looking to make a statement here tonight in the Big 12 regular season finale.
That's so demoralizing if you're the opponent. And boy, special teams been a big factor in this game. They got a block punt and that kick return for a touchdown. Xavier Worthy had a punt return for a touchdown. Blocked extra point by Tavondre Sweat. Return for a TD by Austin Jordan. Keaton Crawford block punt recovered by Malik Muhammad for a touchdown.
Jeff Banks, who's also the tight ends coach, an excellent special teams coach, and they've been on point all season long, and clearly that's the case here tonight when it matters the most.
So it's 33-7. We mentioned at the outset of the telecast, Texas fans been waiting for this, wondering how the Longhorns would handle the success. Well, they've handled it pretty darn well. And still getting it done on special teams. Texas Tech can't even get back to the 20. Let's go down to the field and check in with Tom Luginbill.
Well, guys, listen, talking to Joey McGuire going into the locker room, he said it's just one compounded issue after another. They haven't settled down. They haven't responded well. When I caught Steve Sarkisian come out of the locker room, he noted 3 areas: a lack of red zone efficiency, penalties, 5 of them in the first half, and then 0 for 4 on 3rd down. It just felt like Quinn Ewers was trying to rush it a little bit, make too many plays. Should be a lot better here in the second half. So they got to settle Quinn down a little.
Well, Texas Tech with possession but trailing by 26, trying to run Taj Brooks, and he gets maybe 2. Aaron Sorrell getting into the ground. At some point, though, Baron Morton's going to have to start slinging it. Now, maybe you can get away with this for a possession or 2, but you haven't been able to make a stop all night, and you haven't been able to do much on offense all night. Morton throwing again to Aiken. That's the guy that he's thrown it to almost throughout the entire game. Good coverage by Gavin Holmes. Incomplete pass. It'll be 3rd down and 8.
Boy, the coverage is so tight. Everything contested. Nothing easy. These Texas Tech wide receivers here this evening. Tight windows that Baron Morton has not been able to crack the code on.
Number 1 3rd down defense in college football.
Watch number 0.
That's Anthony Hill. Here's a deep ball and thrown out of bounds. Again, good defense by Holmes on Aiken. A quick 3 and out for Texas Tech. And Xavier Worthy, who we saw helped off the field at the end of the first half, he's out there for the punt return. He's had to leave the field twice, and we wondered when it happened, will we see him again? He wants to finish strong. And again, you got a backup long snapper for Texas Tech because of an injury on the first play to the starter. Let's see what happens here on the punt. They've already blocked the punt once. That one is a little bit better. Got back there quicker to the punter, McNamara, and by far his best punt of the night. At least that one had some hang time. 43 yards. No return. To hang on and win this game as we look at this week's college football playoff rankings brought to you by Capital One. Win and they're in the Big 12 title game. You got Georgia Tech tomorrow, Florida State on our air tomorrow as well, Ohio State, Michigan, Washington State in the Apple Cup. You see any upsets potentially in the top 10 or no?
I really don't. I mean, I guess if you want to say without Jordan Travis, Florida State, but I personally think Florida State's going to be just fine without it.
There's Jatavion Sanders, pushed out of bounds after a gain of about 4.
Iron Bowl as well on there, Alabama and Auburn. I don't know if Auburn's going to have what it takes the way Alabama's playing right now. I kind of feel like it's going to stand pat, but obviously there'll be some movement with that Michigan-Ohio State game.
Texas, the 2nd highest ranked 1-loss team. Oregon playing right now, leading by a couple of scores over Oregon State at number 6. Florida State dropped to number 5 this week. Baxter knocked down to the 45. Do you agree with that, by the way? Florida State being displaced by Washington as Baxter is injured now. Man, every star player for Texas has gotten hurt in this game other than the quarterback, and he's already missed time this year due to injury. And again, you've got Jonathan Brooks out for the season. An 1,100-yard rusher tore his ACL a couple weeks back. Do you agree with that, though, Florida State being at 5? I think that's the right call for now?
I do. Washington going on the road in Corvallis, getting that win against a good Oregon State team in the rain, I thought was big. And the way their defense played, their defense really stepped up and helped win them that football game when the offense was kind of, slow out of the gates in that ball game. And at the exact same time, Florida State plays North Alabama. Like, so as you're sitting there looking at that, you're kind of waiting for Washington to get that marquee win. They go on the road, get a good win. I understood why they made that jump over Florida State this past week.
Plus, you have the shock of the Jordan Travis injury and the severity of that injury happening in the moment. Now let's see, with a week of Tate Rodemaker getting ready for the game, if things will change, and he'll play better as Ewers is slammed to the ground by McAlpine for a sack, and Texas is going to have to punt. A rare punt here for Ryan Sanborn.
Well, this is exactly what Texas Tech needed, just to find a way to get a stop. You see a nice game worked here. He's going to loop around and able to get home. Good to see that from Trayvon McAlpine. Just continue to work, and get Quinn Ewers on the ground. Anything to try to ignite this Texas Tech football team here in the second half.
The only other time Sanborn punted the game is he gets hit that time, and here come flags, was in the first quarter when they got pushed out of field goal range because of a penalty. It's 4th and 9, so if that's running into the kicker, it would only be a 5-yard penalty. There was obviously contact, but was there contact to the plant leg, which then would be roughing the kicker by Miles Cole? Kevin Mars, our referee. Final Big 12 regular season game for Texas. Yep.
Defense number 6. That penalty's declined. First down, Texas Tech. Timeout.
Steve Sarkisian does not like the call, but contact with the kicker, only a 5-yard penalty decline. Over BYU, they have the tiebreaker with Oklahoma having beaten the Sooners in Bedlam. Texas and Oklahoma State did not play this year. They did play last year in Stillwater with the Cowboys winning.
Oklahoma State's got the head-to-head over Oklahoma and Kansas State. Oklahoma State loses. Could be a rematch of what we saw in Dallas back in October.
And trying to run Brooks there just to give the quarterback, Baron Morton, who's really struggled tonight, just some breathing room. And that stout front led by Tavondre Sweat. He talked with us a couple weeks back when we had him about the influence of his mother, LaShonda Ross. He said he's been a different guy, and he got frustrated at times with his own play, frustrated at times with how the coaches viewed him, but his mom kept positive as that pass downfield is offline and complete. He wears this huge chain that he brings each game that says "Make them sweat." On the back has pictures of he and his family members, including his mom, LaShonda.
That's awesome. What a chain. I'd love to see you with that thing on. I might drag you to the ground. But at 6'4", 360-plus pounds, no problem for Tavondre Sweat. One of the outstanding defensive linemen in all of college football this year. What a season he's put together.
Thing does look like a 45-pound plate that you find at the gym as that pass is incomplete. It's going to bring up 4th down, intended for Tharp. But Tavondre Sweat's a great story, and again, we talked about his relationship with his mom and the influence that she's been. Got invited to the Senior Bowl. He's a semifinalist for the Walter Camp, one of 2 defensive players, and you've got to respect the people that made that decision, because he doesn't have gaudy stats like Latu from UCLA, who does have gaudy stats, the only other defensive player on there.
But if you watch film and you know anything about football, you know Tavondre Sweat is the centerpiece of this Texas defense. Him and Byron Murphy playing next to each other just makes it so difficult to get anything going. They disrupt the running game. They disrupt the pass game, applying pressure from the inside. I think it's awesome that they recognize him for what he's been able to do this season. Both these guys have been stellar for Pete Kwiatkowski and his defense.
Thought it was cool too. You know, we do our production meets for people who aren't aware. You meet with coaches, meet with, you know, a couple players. We were not scheduled to meet with Tavondre Sweat. We were told, hey, he wants to say hello to you guys, because again, we had a great conversation with him a month back. I can't wait to see what the future holds for him, because he's in shape. He's playing hard all the time now, and obviously a big difference maker on this elite Texas defense. Jaden Blue down to the 31, 11 yards and a 1st down.
Yeah, I'm completely with you, Dave, on all counts. And just what I love about it, he thought about leaving last year, going back to Devondre Sweat, thought about leaving and talked with Sark, and Sark said, you need to be more consistent. And man, oh man, has he changed his future for the better with the way he's played this year, become a consistent player and a real leader for this football team.
Blue inside the 30, pushed back by Pierre.
Now, one thing that I've noticed with Jaden Blue, we've seen the big play, the speed, the home run capability, but he's lowered his shoulder a couple times tonight, Tom, and he's not just a guy who needs to be in the open field. He can run with some physicality as well. I've been really impressed last week and now here tonight with Jaden Blue running the football.
Yeah, me too. He'll press the hole. He'll lower his shoulder. Got some better lower body power than you might think. But boy, that home run ability is special.
Yeah, they call him that. They said he's become more of a complete back, but here's the home run threat, although flag comes down to the 10-yard line.
Christian Jones looked like he might have got a hold there. Help spring that hole.
Holding. Offense number 70. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
I think it's going to be interesting if Texas is still up big in the fourth, early in the fourth. Do you take the guys who've been nicked up in this game out? You know, do we see Jatavion Sanders and Xavier Worthy? You need those guys healthy, all hands on deck for next week.
I would say yes. I mean, you got a Big 12 championship game to get ready for, but it's pretty clear these guys want to stick this thing out here tonight.
Off play action, Ewers in trouble, grabbed and brought down by Charles Esters III for a sack and a loss of 3.
Well, this is going to be a coverage sack here because, you know, we're going to see this pressure get home late, but Quinn Ewers is surveying the field, trying to find somebody come open. No one comes open, and it's Charles Esters III. A little bit of bull rush on Jatavion Sanders, but credit the coverage down the field. Nowhere for Ewers to go with the football.
Now Savion Red's in there running back while C.J. Baxter has been on the sideline, kind of aiding the right side of his lower leg.
Ewers going to throw it to Red, and incomplete. Deflected by Esters. And so here comes Bert Auburn. Long field goal streak on the line. He's made 17 in a row. Career long is 50. Looks like this is going to be about a 54-yard trot.
Trying to give him the old broadcaster jinx, aren't you? Keep bringing up the I just want to bring up, how about that lettuce though on Bert Auburn? Some of the best hair I've seen all season. That's phenomenal.
Some of us are jealous. From 54 yards away. A career high 5 made field goals in a single game. Auburn's career long, he's made 19 in a row.
He's got the hair, and tonight he's got the leg. Bert Auburn getting it done here in Austin.
All season long, student sections across the country are competing to be the Taco Bell Live Más Student Section of the Year. Download the Taco Bell app to learn more. And the Longhorn fans were ready. Tailgating all day, knowing what was at stake tonight. Trying to keep their playoff hopes alive, get to the Big 12 title game for the first time since 2018. Maybe win the Big 12 for the first time since 2009. And the final Big 12 home game for going to the SEC next year. Fair catch made. So we'll come out to the 25 for Texas Tech. That defense for Texas been a force all year long, giving up just 7 points tonight. 38 passing yards. Baron Morton, who had played really well the last few weeks, looks completely lost back there. He's had pressure on him a good part of the night, and he's thrown a couple picks, been sacked a couple times.
That's where the only signs of weakness throughout the course of the year was potentially that Texas secondary. But the coverage has been tight. Pressure all night on Morton.
Going to run it here to Valdez, and spun down by Jalen Ford, meeting him in the hole. Vernon Broughton in there too. At front seven for Texas. I don't know if they're the best in the country, but they're up there. I mean, we've had multiple coaches.
Yep.
When we do our production meetings for these Texas games, we've had on the other side say that the Texas defense is the best one they've seen in a long time.
Zach Kitley told us, offense coordinator Tech, it's the best he's ever seen on film. Young coach getting a dose of reality here tonight.
Catch is made by White. Tracked down by Hill, short of the line to gain. It's going to bring up 3rd down after pickup of 8, 3rd and 2.
Tackle really well. Obviously, you win the line of scrimmage. Depth at defensive tackle is always a key, and they've got that. But whether it's Jalen Ford, Anthony Hill Jr., who's just improved all throughout the course of the season, David Benda, he's got so many different quality players, especially in those front 2 levels. So tough to get much going. When you can win the line of scrimmage, well, you can have a lot of success defensively.
And for a lot of these guys, their last game playing at DKR, senior night, and a couple of juniors that are going to the NFL. Big hit by Ford, and then Taft almost picked it off. Jalen Ford smacked Baron Morton. He needs help getting up. Taft had a chance at a pick.
Jalen Ford going to do an excellent job as a late add onto the rush. As Baron Morton rolls to his right, Jalen Ford, like a heat-seeking missile, helmet right in the stomach, sternum area of Baron Morton, as he's been hit, beat, and battered all throughout the course of this night. Jalen Ford, as he typically does, leading this Texas football team with 8 tackles this evening.
Well, Texas Tech bowl eligible as they fake the punt here. And the pass is caught. They're able to complete it to McNamara. There is a penalty marker down. It was Coy Aiken who threw the ball. McNamara on the catch. Let's see what the flags are about. Might have some men downfield illegally. Often is the case in those fake punts. But at this point, you're down 36-7. You might as well try it, right?
Sure, why not? It's one of the more successful pass plays Tech's had all night.
True. There are 2 penalty markers down. One on the far side, one near side in front of the Texas bench. So waiting for the crew to sort things out.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Ineligible receiver downfield. Offense number 69. Holding, offense number 2. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 4th down.
Been that kind of a night for Texas Tech. You finally have something go your way, and 2 guys commit penalties.
Well, they dialed this up too. Had the punter up a little bit tighter, direct snap underneath, but as you properly pointed out, legal man downfield, holding. Been that kind of night for Coach McGuire.
When they were here 2 years ago, they got blasted 70-35. Last time they won in Austin was 6 years ago today. The last time they won in Austin when Texas was in the top 10, 1967. Oh. They have not beaten a top 10 team period since 2012. And the last road win against a top 10 team was at #1 Oklahoma back in 2011. McNamara finally with a good punt. Kind of been waiting for that. Here's Worthy on the return. Up to the 35 and then finally brought down at the 38. Man, he is so good with the ball in his hands. Tomorrow on ESPN. Number 5 Florida State taking on Florida 7 Eastern. Then on ABC. Top-ranked Georgia against Georgia Tech. Next Sunday, college football playoff selection show. Who will make it into the top 4? Catch it at noon Eastern on ESPN and the app. Obviously, Texas will be rooting for both Georgia Tech and Florida tomorrow, and they'll be rooting for Alabama next week and Louisville next week as well.
They want chaos, Dave. I'll tell you what, though, tomorrow night, ABC Prom, I can't wait for that Florida State game. Tate Rodemaker, who stepped in. You go back to last year against Louisville on the road, stepped in, helped lead that team to a victory. He's inexperienced, but he's not young. He's been there for quite a while under Mike Norvell. Can really throw it. He's an excellent athlete, former basketball player. Can't wait to see how this team responds. And think about Florida State. They got talent on both sides of the football. I think that they're actually built similar to the way Texas is with what they have, especially at the skill position. And then Jared Verse leads that defensive line that can flat out get after you.
By the way, Cameron Watts, the injured player, that's the reason for the delay here. How confident are you in Florida, kind of where they are right now, to have a chance to win that game despite there being a new quarterback because of the Travis injury.
Well, they played well against Missouri a week ago. I give them credit, but man, they've had their struggles throughout the course of this season. I mean, look, it's possible. You're going to be at the Swamp. You're going to have a great crowd. It's an in-state rivalry, but they're without their starting quarterback too. Graham Mertz has had an excellent year. Max Brown's going to be the starter for the Gators. I mean, it's college football. Anything's possible, but I trust, similar to what Sark has done here at Texas with the culture and a veteran team and all the pieces fitting. I think it's similar to Florida State and Mike Norvell. Year number 4, he's built that culture. That's a veteran football team, and I think they're poised to continue their winning ways.
Right, you think about National Coach of the Year, and Norvell has to be in the conversation. Sark has to be in the conversation. Kalen DeBoer, Dan Lanning, all part of the conversation for National Coach of the Year. Go ahead, Lukes.
Well, depending on what ends up happening going forward with Alabama, could this be Nick Saban's best coaching job in years?
It's a great point. When you think about early in the year, they were trying to figure out who their quarterback was, and Jalen Milroe's been one of the best players in the SEC since the early part of the year when he struggled. They're bringing the card out now for Cameron Watts of Texas Tech. Well, now that we've had a chance to look at the replay and seeing the medical staff bringing out the board, we're just starting to get a sense of the severity of the injuries. You see the hit here, collision between Watts and teammate Nehemiah Martinez.
Well, you just absolutely hate to see that. Big collision, little friendly fire. Cameron Watts out of Tulsa. He's going to be able to be okay.
And awfully hard to tell from here if there's been movement in the extremities. Obvious concern from both sides, both teams, coaching staffs. All right, we'll be back for 60 seconds as the medical staff continues to attend to Cameron Watts. All right, Kevin, so we can tell you, because we did look at a replay during break of when the injury happened. When the injury first happened, Cameron Watts was moving his arms and his legs when the medical staff rushed and came to him. So again, haven't been able to see much since because of the crowd around him. Hopefully this is precautionary. Hopefully Cameron's okay. Collision with a teammate, Nehemiah Martinez. We can tell you there are 2 emergency facilities within 1 mile from here, the stadium. So hopefully Cameron will get the attention he needs, and that'll happen very quickly. And now, I mean, Dusty, we played at the highest level. How difficult is this when you see one of your guys go down like that, and now you got to turn around and still play a quarter and a half of football?
It's tough. And look, first and foremost, our thoughts and prayers are out to Cameron Watts. We hope that he's going to be okay, but it's difficult, man. I think for both teams, when you see someone on the ground and being carted off like that on a board, it's not easy. And that's, I'm sure, a conversation that both these coaches are having with their teams to go back out there and take the field. But well, that's a scary situation, and we wish Cameron Watts a very speedy recovery.
Again, as I mentioned, when the injury happened, we did see movement initially from both arms and both legs before the medical staff rushed in. Didn't see much since, if anything, just based on the number of people around him. And imagine they're trying to be extra careful with him. So first down for Texas on its 38-yard line, leading 36-7. Ewers just going to hand it off here to Jaden Blue. And he's out to the 42-yard line for about 4 yards.
Well, obviously, a couple of weeks ago, Jonathan Brooks goes out against TCU. You know, what was Texas going to do? We knew C.J. Baxter, who was the starter of the first 2 games of the season, it was really getting banged up against Alabama, opened the door for Jonathan Brooks. Now tonight, C.J. Baxter's been hurt. It's been the Jaden Blue game. And we've obviously seen Keelan Robinson as a receiver, as a kick returner, but kind of been running back by committee tonight, Dave.
Worthy out of space, has a first down, 49-yard line. appreciate, too, the toughness of Xavier Worthy. He's gone down a couple times. He had to be helped by 2 medical staff members just to get to the locker room at halftime, and he's back out there playing in the second half of a game that's, you know, getting out of hand at this point. But he's staying out there. Play action pass. Ewers setting up. Gonna throw it short to Jaden Blue. And close to a first down. The culture that Steve Sarkisian has built here, it's real. And again, I think one of the more interesting aspects of it is at a program like this where you've got veteran guys who, you know, were part of the previous regime where maybe things didn't go so well, and, you know, they've tried a bunch of different coaches since Mack Brown left. Things, you know, at times there were a good season here or there as Jaden Blue gets the first down, but, you know, for the most part they underachieved based on Texas standards. And then last year, after a 5-win season, they start well and they don't finish strong. Yet because of the foundation that was laid by Sark and the new guys and the older guys buying in together, they've been able to take this huge leap this year.
It's been a great mix, right? Veteran guys who bought in going back to that first year of Sark, the 5 wins, and Sark told us those guys never wavered. They believed in the message we were selling. Savion Red gets a nice run off the right side. They believed in what we were saying, and everybody just continued to work toward one common goal. And it's this great intersection of a veteran presence and this influx of young talent, and they've hit it out of the park here this season. The culture is real, and this Texas football team is very for real.
Ewers finds Worthy, and Worthy reaches out for the end zone. Touchdown. The 5th touchdown catch of the year for Xavier Worthy.
Xavier Worthy, zone coverage once again, finds that open grass right in front. Adrian Taylor Demerson stretches it out over the front of the end zone. It's going to be really, really close.
All it has to do is cross the front of that.
I think right as that knee hit, that ball was crossing the front of the goal line.
Every play is reviewed, though, so they're already looking at it, and doesn't look like they're going to stop play. And the extra point makes it 43-7 as Texas making a statement tonight against Texas Tech.
And Xavier Worthy, you've touched on it several times, Dave, just what he's worked through here tonight. He's going to find open space. See the defender, zone coverage. And it's Xavier Worthy knowing exactly where to get to. That linebacker continues to drift and float out. Worthy works just inside of him. And an easy find for Quinn Ewers. How good is Xavier Worthy after the catch? One of the more dynamic receivers in all of college football. Get the ball in his hands and good things happen.
You know, Dusty, just think about being a defensive coordinator and you're trying to make sure you've got enough numbers in the box to stop the run game for Texas, which is awfully difficult, but you've got Xavier Worthy there in the slot on the RPO game. I mean, you're picking your poison. You're going to get nailed either way.
That's exactly right. I mean, you want to come down and try to stop this rushing attack? Good luck. If you want to sit back and want to play coverage and cover your bases, well, they can run it right down your throat.
Yep. And they have a season-high 43 points. They had scored 30 or more in their first 9 games for the first time in school history, just 26 last week. The wins have not come easy lately, but this was an exclamation point tonight against a Texas Tech team that had won 3 in a row, a team that was ranked coming into the year and fought hard against Oregon. Week 2, they had to play 3 different quarterbacks because of injury, but this is a team that's been hot, and Texas has absolutely pummeled them tonight.
Joe McGuire's done a great job since he's taken over. On the field, beat Oklahoma and Texas a season ago. First time that's happened in Texas Tech history the same season, and really rebounded after 1-3, then 3-5 to become bowl eligible. They had a lot of confidence coming into this game. That confidence, boy, it is nowhere to be found right now.
Running room for Brooks. And a gain of 10 and a first down. He's been the lone bright spot offensively. He's got over 80 rushing yards today. Morton's pass caught by Boyd. Pick up a 4.
That throw, though, is in the ground. It's off target. It's just... And Baron Morton, he's tough now. He's been playing through a really bad AC joint sprain since all the way back week 3 against West Virginia. But clearly tonight, he just doesn't quite have it as a thrower the way he did a week ago.
That should have been picked off. Jalen Ford, as it looked like Morton had no idea he was there. Never saw him.
And this is the other part of Jalen Ford's game that is so good. His feel and underneath zone coverage. He feels this route by Aiken coming inside, reading the eyes of the quarterback, drifts right in there. And that's actually one that Jalen Ford is going to be kicking himself. That should have been an interception for 41.
He's got 2 picks. Invited to the Senior Bowl. Be a really good NFL linebacker. They get a first down. Texas Tech, though, at White. Late in the 3rd, trailing, though, by 36. Morton in trouble. And T'Vondre Sweat in the backfield. That hit the foot. That didn't hit the ground. It's picked off by Bush. That hit the foot of a Texas Tech player. So it's a pick 6 for Bush.
Rolling on the field is an interception for a touchdown.
What a special moment for Jett Bush. Guy who's done a little bit of everything in Texas. Senior night. He's had a sack earlier. Now it's a pick 6, but it's all set up by T'Vondre Sweat. Inside pressure from the big man. As Baron Morton wanted no part of that action from T'Vondre Sweat, just trying to get rid of football when he sees 360-plus pounds barreling down on him. And sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. That ball bounces off the foot of Taj Brooks, and what a cool moment for Jett Bush.
Lucky,
pick 6.
But good. I mean, that's great reaction time there by Bush.
Absolutely.
And look at the celebration. I think they're going to be celebrating for a long time here in Austin as they're on their way to the Big 12 title game in Arlington next week. Wow. Pretty clear. It hit the foot of Brooks. And that's the 3rd interception for Baron Morton. Well, we touched on the close calls. We touched on the blown leads. None of that part of the discussion tonight. This is a blowout. 50-7.
Domination in every phase of the game.
How about that? I don't think I've ever seen that before. And I've seen balls hit a shoulder pad or a helmet and get picked off.
Never seen the foot?
I don't know if I've ever seen the foot and the thing go right up in the air where you get even a chance to pick it off like that. And Bush with a great play to tip it to himself. And then, oh, by the way, to run 43 yards afterwards and score.
Very impressive, man. That's good. Like he's having a little celebration on the sidelines with his teammates. They're loving this in Austin tonight, man.
We talked about it, guys. What had Texas not done to this point? Put their foot on the throat of the opponent. Holy smokes.
Foot meet throat. Because it's happening here in the second half.
No doubt. I think their whole body's laying on them right now. They just destroyed a Texas Tech team that playing really well coming into this game the last few weeks. Here's Trey McCray on the return. Out to about the 25. And there were some people that thought Texas Tech might actually win this game. And Texas just a little bit over a quarter away from finishing the regular season with an 11-1 record and 8-1 in conference play. And their first since 2018 appearance in the Big 12 title game, seeking their first conference championship since 2009 before going to the SEC and very much alive for the college football playoff. You got a lot of committee members flipping back and forth tonight between this and Oregon State.
Statement tonight.
Indeed. Here's Taj Brooks. Pickup of 5 to the 29. I'm just going to be really curious at the end of the season who all the one-loss teams are.
Yeah.
How many undefeateds will there be as a pass is caught by Baylor Cup. Good defense that time by Crawford. Obviously next year when you have the expanded playoff, I mean, Texas is in.
Yes, no question that they're in. You and I were having this discussion before the game. If the scenario presents itself and Georgia and Alabama win their games tomorrow and Alabama were to beat Georgia, and then obviously let's say Oregon goes on and they win tonight, they win next week, you got 4 one-loss teams, potentially only 1 or 2 spots. Who goes? A little differing of opinion between yourself and me.
And then you got Florida State too, almost another interception.
Sure. I just meant the one-loss teams that we know for now.
Okay, so you're saying if it's Georgia, like if Alabama beats Georgia, is that what you're saying? You're saying Alabama right now with 1 loss.
No, I'm saying that if we fast forward ahead and we get to a one-loss place,
okay,
and a lot of football left to be played, and let's just say it gets down to a one-loss Alabama that beat Georgia, a one-loss Georgia loss, and a one-loss Big 12 champion Texas. And they're all vying for 1 spot.
Before the game, I would have said Alabama winning the SEC, beating Georgia, would take them out of the equation they're in. Winning the SEC and beating Georgia, which has won 30 games in a row, whatever it is. Xavier Worthy on the move, and the discussion will have to wait. Worthy past the 40. Oh, face plants a Red Raider as he gets out of bounds. So again, back to if looking where they currently stand, the one-loss teams, I think Texas should be ahead of Alabama.
Right. They should be. They beat them head to head.
Yes.
6 points.
But
that game has to matter.
My point is, if Alabama beats Georgia, Alabama to me is the best team in college football. They deserve to be in the college football playoff. They're out of the discussion. Now it comes down to Georgia, Texas, and Oregon. The reason for the ovation here and the stumble is because Arch Manning has just made his Texas debut. He hadn't played all year. The fans have been waiting for this, and he's finally in the game. He hands it off on his first snap to Savion Red. They blow it dead at the 49. Arch Manning, true freshman from New Orleans, 18 years old, the highest rated Texas signee since Vince Young back in 2001. Dad Cooper, uncles Peyton and Eli. And when Quinn Ewers got hurt and Malik Murphy started a couple games, they were up big in one of those games, and Arch didn't get in. Everybody's been waiting for this. Hands off for Red. I mean, that might have been the loudest ovation of the night, and this crowd's been going wild all game.
Yes, they have. A lot of excitement with Arch Manning here on the 40 acres. I mean, just obviously the pedigree, the last name. What I find the most fascinating, everybody you talk to around Texas say he's as humble a young man as you'll find anywhere. Tireless worker, everything you're looking for the potential future leader of this program. He's got it all.
There's his first college pass, or no, going to take off. The crowd goes nuts as he slides. I mean, to your point, Dusty, we had a veteran Texas player tell us early in the season that Arch Manning came up to him and said, hey, can I just carry your stuff? I don't want special treatment. I want to be treated like a freshman. I want to do all those things to earn the respect of my veteran teammates.
The mindset, the work ethic, it checks all the boxes. Tom, no one knows recruiting better than you. What does Arch Manning bring to this Texas team?
What you just saw right there is athleticism. That's what makes him different than his 2 uncles. Makes him a lot like his granddaddy.
Big hole for Savion Red. And Red down to the 20-yard line. Tom, where did you have Arch ranked coming out among all of the players that you scouted?
Yeah, he was amongst the top 3 overall, and all 3 of them were quarterbacks. So You know, listen, he's got the goods because he's been groomed the right way. He's mature. He can handle all of the auxiliary things that go along with being a quarterback and your last name Manning. He is just flat out mature.
And that right there tells you how his teammates feel about him. Back after these messages and a word from our ABC station.
Well, the greatest standing ovation we've ever seen for somebody handing off the football just occurred in the last series for Texas as Arch Manning entered into the game. And you take a look at my comparison there as you look at this graphic. Bo Nix, I make that comparison because of the athleticism that Arch Manning brings. He can make all the throws. What I like about him is he can throw change-ups. He can change his arm angle. He can layer the football. Very nuanced as a passer, but a really good athlete.
Got a penalty flag down. This place has been rocking all night long.
Yeah.
But I think when we were having our playoff discussion and all of a sudden there was this huge eruption as number 16 ran out of the field.
Defense using disconcerting signals. 5-yard penalty. First down.
It certainly kept the crowd here. I think there are probably some people that wanted maybe to get the night started, although it's been going for a while here, but get it started at least outside the stadium. Nobody wants to leave right now.
It rattled you a little bit.
It did. You're shook. Here's Red. Down to the 13. Well, we mentioned Cooper is Arch's father. And obviously his uncles have won Super Bowls, Peyton and Eli. And Luke's talking about the athletic ability of Arch, reminding him of Archie, grandfather, College Football Hall of Fame class of '89.
Couldn't have shown Peyton hoisting the trophy with the Broncos. We had to show that with the Colts.
Because you were on the team that he beat.
Happened to be there that night. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that one very much. It's going to be exciting to see exactly what Arch Manning becomes here at Texas.
Just wonder if we'll really see him throw at this point. I mean, you're up 43. You do want him to get some work. First and goal.
Give him a bubble screen or something, right, Dusty?
Yeah, let him put it in the air.
Yeah.
There's no question. And now you've got the entire backup offensive line in.
Yep.
Skill. Everybody watch out for Jonte Cook, the true freshman, an outstanding young wide receiver as well.
Ball on the ground, and it's still loose. Manning able to get on it at the 18-yard line. Hard to tell if that was on him or on the center. Got backup offensive lineman in there as well right now for Texas. Connor Robertson, the backup center.
He just mishandled the snap. The snap was a little bit high, but I mean, nothing that he shouldn't have been able to handle, but good job by him crawling to get on top of that football.
Second and goal back in the 18.
He just wanted to get a chance to throw it, Dave.
There it is. Manning getting out of trouble, keeping it, staying in bounds, and now scooting out of play. So a gain of about 12, third and goal.
And you see the athleticism Tom was just documenting and talking about. Evades the rusher coming off the edge. Charles Ester's a third. And almost had the opportunity to get a shot on him. Arch felt it, got outside, and good speed to the perimeter. Set up third manageable.
Arch throwing, incomplete. Tried to hit DeAndre Moore. Now it's fourth and goal. And they're going to keep the offense on the field. His dad, Cooper, was a talented wide receiver, signed at Ole Miss, but career ended due to injury, as that was a rope that was thrown in traffic.
With velocity behind that one.
Imagine another pass play coming up here, fourth and goal. Manning fires, incomplete. Going for Jonte Cook. But the crowd got its money's worth. A standing ovation after two incompletions.
Good protection. Marion Horn with good coverage, pass high, and Tech gets a stop. The Arch Manning era has begun.
With an exclamation point win in its final scheduled meeting with Texas Tech, 50-7, the Longhorns been completely dominant on both sides of the ball. Texas Tech going bowling for the 3rd straight year. It's the first time since they went 11 years in a row from 2000 to 2010. Brooks wrapped up and thrown down by Jamon Tapp. I mean, even the backups on the D-line for Texas are making plays against the starters, not just in this game.
Getting after it, no doubt. I think Bo Davis deserves a lot of credit. The Texas defensive line coach getting rave reviews from Devondre Sweat, as well as when we were talking with Steve Sarkisian, regarded as one of the better defensive line coaches in the country. He's got these guys playing at a very high level.
Morton has a completion, but short of the line to gain to Jordan Brown. If it's Oklahoma State next week,
right?
Oklahoma State has to beat BYU, and it will be Texas-Oklahoma State. What do you think of that matchup? They have not played this year.
Well, you know, Oklahoma State's really changed their season with the emergence of Ollie Gordon. So, you know, that's going to be a big factor. Can they establish a line of scrimmage, which not many people have been able to in the Big 12 against this Texas defense? Can they get Ollie Gordon going, take some of that pressure off Alan Bowman? I think that's kind of how you have to boil this game down. If Ollie Gordon can have success, Oklahoma State can have a chance. If he can't, it's going to be tough sledding against this football team.
3rd and 1, Morton to the air. Flushed out of the pocket again, has his man downfield for a first down. White out to the 24, gain of 9.
Oklahoma State, though, and they're a big favorite at home against BYU, but they got to handle their business against the Cougars before we get to that point.
Morton did again. Finds Taj Brooks, but Alfred Collins, again, listed as a backup, but he's invited to the Senior Bowl. He's going to play in the NFL, and he's a backup that's made a lot of plays.
I've been waiting for him to really take that step for a long time, and he's got excellent length. He's 6'5", he's close to 320 pounds, really good athlete, uses his hands very well. He's an excellent interior pass rusher. Glad to see him get an invite to the Senior Bowl.
Morton throwing in 2nd and 12. Got hit from behind as he released the pass by Finkley. Fungi, the receiver, gets a Texas Tech first down. 8 of 15.
Baron Morton just hanging in there. He continues to take shots from the interior, from the edge. Texas Tech really struggling with protection all throughout the course of this ball game. Showing some toughness as he's done all season. This is why he's the future of Texas Tech football. Joey McGuire told us that he's our quarterback next season and moving forward.
Running room for Brooks. And out to the 45-yard line. If Oklahoma State were to lose, Kansas State lose to Iowa State, then Oklahoma would be in the Big 12 title game against Texas, the only team to beat the Longhorns this year. That was almost 2 months ago, 34-30.
And if you want to talk about what would best help Texas' resume, it would be that.
Yes.
Would be avenging your only loss on a neutral field against that team who, by the way, is by far the highest ranked team in the Big 12, not named Texas by the committee.
3rd down and 4 for Texas Tech. Morton downfield. Nice adjustment. The ball came out at the end, though. Fungi could not make the catch. Good coverage by Xavion Bryce. 4th down.
Touched on it. Great adjustment in the air. Little back shoulder throw. Fungi kind of reminiscent of what we saw early in this ball game. There's a big drop pass early where Baron Morton probably had his best throw of the game. You also go back. Malik Dunlap had a dropped interception. Texas Tech just not able to capitalize on opportunities when they've been there this evening.
Nobody has left this stadium. Why? Because they want to see more Arch Manning. And we're going to get that here when we come back after the fair catch by Worthy. Although there's no food in this picture. There's just wine. Where's the food?
Yeah, where's the big spread at? Our awesome team did a great job all season. As we wrap up our regular season, we appreciate all of them so much for all they do to help put on these broadcasts each and every week. And I guess I'm even thankful for you, Mr. Pash. And you, Mr. Luganville.
And you, sir.
Thankful for these heated playoff discussions that we've been getting into, mainly off the air, Savion Red. So let's go back there, since, again, this is something that started before the game. Because my point, okay, let me ask you a question.
Be careful. I may throw you out this booth. So
are you both saying, you and Tom both saying, that Texas deserves to be ahead of Alabama no matter what happens the rest of the season? Meaning there's no circumstance.
Texas keeps winning. I don't see how you can move
Alabama beats Georgia. You are not putting them above Texas.
What happened week 2 in Tuscaloosa
3 months ago? I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but penalty flags down. So
why play those games in if they're not going to matter?
If you beat a 2-time defending champ and an undefeated team that's won 30 some odd games, I'm just saying, you think Texas is better.
Offense number 62, 5-yard penalty, second down.
I think they deserve to be in the playoff. What it really speaks to, first of all, it'd be an unfortunate situation because both teams are extremely deserving to get in, and it's why we should expedite the expanded playoff now and get it this season.
They both might get into it, may not come down to those two.
But if it comes down to that, no, I'd have to look at the head-to-head. I mean, Texas' only loss would be on a neutral field, and Oklahoma put together a drive in the final minute of the game to beat them. And other than that, they won every game on their schedule, including beating that team you're talking about by 10 points on their home field. Look, again, I hate to even have to have the conversation, but I think head-to-head has to matter.
Luke's?
I'm with Dusty on this one, and especially since Texas has continued to improve and get better and better and better. And they also did it for 2 weeks with a backup quarterback.
Right. Think about that. Kansas State.
Sure.
They beat a really good Kansas State team right here on this field with a backup quarterback. And you know, they turned the ball over down the stretch, and they still found a way to win. You got to give credit for that.
To me, they look like a playoff team, but so does Georgia, so does Alabama, so does Washington, so does Oregon, so does Florida State. And am I leaving anybody out? There's 8 teams right now that look like playoff teams. You can only pick 4. And again, maybe most of this or all of it will sort itself out, but I mean, Michigan, Ohio State both look like playoff teams.
Correct.
So where would you put Alabama if Alabama beat Auburn and Georgia?
I think it depends on what happens with these other games.
And which is
Washington beat Oregon again? Does Oregon beat Washington? Now both have 1 loss. What happens if Ohio State beats Michigan and then loses in the Big Ten championship game, or other way around?
Which is why, before we jump to any conclusions and I throw you from this booth, you should just sit back, relax, and enjoy the fabulous football we have tomorrow and then championship weekend before we all roll our sleeves up and dig our heels in, because to your point, there's a lot of football still left to be played.
Dave, don't worry. All the fans are still here. It'll be a soft landing.
Again, my biggest point that I wanted to get across in Alabama is, to me, if they win out, they are in. As the SEC champ with a win over Georgia, they're in. They're no longer part of the bubble conversation.
And they might be. That might be what a committee says. I'm not telling you you're wrong that the committee would do that. I'm just saying if I were a part of said committee, I would have a different view on that conversation.
And that doesn't mean that Texas would automatically be out either. You're just saying Alabama would be in.
But first of all, Alabama's got to beat Georgia, which is
Auburn.
pretty tall order.
A lot left to do. Which is going to be fun, man. Tomorrow, it's going to be great. Next weekend, championship Saturday, it's going to be off the charts.
Dave, do you feel better now you got that off your chest?
I feel better that I'm still alive based on after all the threats to being tossed out of the booth. Manning, oh boy, there's the arm talent on display, completing it to Cook. And Jonte Cook, a fellow true freshman, alongside Manning with a nice run after the catch.
Talented quarterback to talented wide receiver. That's true freshman to true freshman. I like how Jonte Cook just sits down, waits. On the move, Arch Manning identifies him, in the speed in the open field, very real for for Jonte Cook. Tom, I know they are fired up and excited about what Jonte Cook brings to the table.
They really are. You look at the two receivers at the top of the screen. You've got Jonte Cook there. You've got DeAndre Moore. He's also a true freshman, along with Arch Manning. I mean, this is a good-looking 2023 recruiting class for Texas.
And C.J. Baxter, who started this ball game, running back as well.
Wisner to the 49, so first career completion for Arch Manning. An extra day for Texas, which with all the guys banged up in this game will, you would think, help them as they get ready for the Big 12 championship game in Arlington next Saturday. And let's just for a moment celebrate what Texas has done to this to this point of the year. 11-1, 8-1 in league play. Competing for the Big 12 championship for the first time since 18. Great chance to win it for the first time since 09. Flag comes down.
Holding, offense number 72. 10-yard penalty, second down.
This will be 6 straight wins since the Oklahoma loss. We touched on Georgia and Florida State. They've got tough games. Well, maybe tough games tomorrow. At least we hope they'll be more competitive than this one was. Florida State taking on Florida. 7 o'clock Eastern ESPN. Then over on ABC 7:30 kick. Got Georgia at Georgia Tech.
A game in the swamp. Georgia Tech, by the way, what a job they've done. Brent Key this year, stepping in, bowl eligible this season. I just think that's going to be a tall task against Georgia. The Florida State game, where all eyes will be on that. And as we touched on earlier with Tay Rodemaker making the start, Jordan Travis out, I think a lot of people are going to see how Mike Norvell has that team prepared and ready to play without their senior quarterback.
Manning downfield, knocked away, incomplete. Lux breaking up the pass, intended for Casey Kane.
Braylon Lux has played his tail off here tonight. He's had an interception, had another really good pass breakup. He's in great position here, high point in the football. It's well done by Braylon Lux. Fresno State transfer is not giving up. Continue to go out there and compete all the way to the bitter end.
So 3rd down and 15 for Arch Manning. It is college debut. And just going to keep it on the ground here. Wisner able to break a tackle, another one, and then finally cut down at the 49 by Tony Bradford. Fans want Texas to go for it here, and they will.
Put the game away a week ago by running out the clock. They put the game away going back to week 2 against Alabama by running out the clock. Then a first down on this 4th down, if they indeed do go for it, can ice this game away.
3 minutes away from being one step closer to the first Big 12 championship in 14 years and still being in position, play for the national championship. They got a conversion with Manning throwing it on target to Kane. Picking up first down.
Nice clean pocket for Arch Manning. Some cushion out there on the outside for Kane, and a strike from Arch Manning for the conversion.
And he's got a strong arm.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, we already saw the athletic ability. It's just going to be fun to watch. I mean, Quinn Ewers, we'll see if he's back next year. All indications are that he plans to return for his junior season to Texas, but he is 3 years removed from high school. You have Malik Murphy, who started a couple games this year. Wisner, nice move down the sideline, finally ripped down inside the 20.
Everything Steve Sarkisian's dialed up tonight has been good. Running the football, throwing the football. They've had a great mix. 299 on the ground, 226 through the air. The balance has been there all season, and it's held true here tonight. As dominant a performance as we've seen Texas have all season, when it mattered the most, gotta have it. Chance to play yourself into a Big 12 championship, college football playoff implications. And boy, did they show up and that they put their best foot forward. Very impressive what Steve Sarkisian's football team has done here tonight.
2 more plays here. See if Texas just takes a knee or if they continue to get Arch Manning some work here. And maybe just one more play depending on what happens after this play. Going to be awfully close to being inside that 40-second play clock depending on what happens here. Texas obviously taking it down as far as it can. Wisner on the cutback inside the 5. Dives for the end zone. Touchdown Texas. Right on. Finishing out Big 12 regular season play in style with 56 points on the board.
Well, the offensive line and maybe the backups, but they're getting it done. Cameron Williams, 56 on the right side. Nice job helping secure that edge, and the vision by Wisner, the cutback, as he finds Pater and gets in the end zone. An almost 8-minute, 91-yard drive led by Arch Manning. Wow.
MVP chance for Arch right now.
That's for you, Pat.
No, they're saying SEC.
Flag comes down.
Illegal substitution. Offense. 5-yard penalty. We'll reattempt the try.
Sark pulled Arch Manning aside as he came to the sideline and just mouthed to him, really nice drive, man.
You know, too, and Tom, just watching again the reaction his teammates have, going back to what Dusty was saying earlier about his humility and just wanting to be one of the guys, not treated any differently because of his last name, earning their respect, and you can see he has. As Auburn stays perfect on PATs, 57-7, Texas. Send Texas to the SEC with a home loss. Steve Sarkisian said, hey, we got to embrace the hate on that, and the players obviously celebrated when they just saw that, knowing that they're up by 50.
The comments did not fall on deaf ears from the Texas players. Devondre Sweat told us this week that he watched it over 10 times this week to get a good memory of exactly what was said.
As McCray returns it up to the 37-yard line. We have to take one more break, but hold on, we get a flag down.
They're looking to make a point here tonight.
Right. I wonder if that's more towards the conference than it was towards Joey McGuire with not taking a knee there and running a play and getting into the end zone when you're up by 43. Just trying to end on a statement.
That's right.
Leaving the Big 12. And again, they'll be in the Big 12 title game on ABC noon a week from tomorrow. Oklahoma State beats BYU. It'll be against them.
There are 2 fouls in play, one by each team. Personal foul, face mask, kicking team number 2. Personal foul, face mask, defense number 16. Those fouls offset, first down.
Back in a moment. 29 seconds to go. Texas's first Big 12 title game appearance is 2018. They lost that year. The last time they won the conference was back in 09. It's either going to be Oklahoma State or Oklahoma. Oklahoma State will be the opponent if it handles business against BYU. Otherwise, Oklahoma and Texas will play once again. The Sooners handed Texas their lone defeat. They run Cameron Valdez. And a game that probably should have ended about 10 minutes ago finally is over. Texas waves farewell to Big 12 regular season play with an emphatic.
Oh no, Tech's going to run a play.
50-point win. Valdez, first down. There's 1 second left, though. There's technically 1 second. Are they going to let it off? They let it go. That's it. Texas is off to the Big 12 championship game, blowing out Texas Tech on Black Friday, 57-7. And they're one win away from their first conference title in 14 years, and still in the mix for their first national title since 2005.
A complete game for the Texas Longhorns. We talked a lot about not putting it all together. They put it together tonight, Tom.
Well, they certainly did, Dusty. Coach, listen.